Yukikaze! Ranking system, starting way up at the S tier. S is the absolute best of the best. These are things that will be remembered for like 10 years at least. The kind of things that have like a impact on the anime's zeitgeist. Absolute masterpieces within their genre. Or things of that nature that will pull people in from outside of anime entirely in order to get people watching them. A tier is very, very solid shows. These are the things that are definitely a recommendation and will often bring people outside of their genre to watch them, but maybe not from outside of anime entirely. B tier is shows that are relatively solid within their genre, but that aren't really going to draw a lot of people from other genres, generally speaking. They're reasonably solid technically, usually, or have some really interesting spin to them or something like that that sets them apart a little bit, but they're just not impressive enough to pull people from outside of their niche. C tier is just kind of your run-of-the-mill, average anime. Stuff that's just pretty much par for the course for what you expect for its genre and type, and that really isn't going to pull anyone who isn't already interested in it. Trash tier is not necessarily a bad tier for things to be in a sense. It's just a type of show. It's your fast food shows that are more of a guilty pleasure, or things that, by all objective qualities, are not what you would call good, particularly if you were looking at it from like a criticism standpoint. However, they are still enjoyable to their audience in their own right. And then skip category is things that we either straight up did not watch and cannot comment on as a result, or that we believe have just absolutely no redeeming value whatsoever, and nobody should be watching it.
I view a stream boo. Com.
Already got a bot. Alright. And then I am very heavy on the fantasy side here, as well as things like kind of the romance, ecchi, yuri sort of genres. So I'm kind of in the in-between zone here. And my least watched stuff is definitely sports and like modern day, like military shonen kind of stuff. Alright. Sure I've got up correctly here real quick. There we go. Well, I'm hearing that there are long, awkward pauses, and there's a question if we're having technical issues. Oh, okay. It seems like... Oh, okay, you all are not coming up on my mic. Okay, give me just a moment. It's something coming from my stream. It's basically Discord doing the thing that it does sometimes again. No, it shouldn't have to do with that. It's just, every once in a while when the Windows updates happen and mess up all my audio stuff, one of the things it messes up is, what audio source my Discord uses, and that causes me these issues, because it defaults back to chat every time. And hopefully that should fix it. Can one of you talk?
I don't know. Are we coming through? Can you hear us, Yuki chat?
Alright. I think that fixed it, because I'm seeing the audio in the readout now.
Yay.
Yay! Alright, and thank you to Robin over there for letting me know about that.
Yeah, it sounds like they only heard Yuki talk, basically, so we might want to take our introductions again.
Oh, all right. One more time from the top for me. Hi there, Agent Q here, main host of the stream. I am your mecha genre fan, as well as your action. Oh, I'm trying to think of something funny to say. not trash goblin, but shonen junkie. I like big boys screaming and giant robots stomping. The areas you find me not too well against are your more modern day slice of life and romances.
And my name's Violet. I live in Germany. I'm Yuki's friend. She invited me to join to help boost some of the genres, because if you take what Agent just said and reverse it, that's basically me. My favorite genres are slice of life, rom-coms, especially Yuri and girls' love. So you'll see a lot of that on my list. My Bluesky, in fact, is Deer in the Lilies, which is a reference to that. So that's definitely my wheelhouse. Less of a fan of things like the shonen action, the giant mecha series, and also sort of the fantasy isekai ones. Like, there are always exceptions. I've definitely watched some of those shows and really enjoyed them, but for the most part, I tend to gravitate more towards the shoujo side of things.
Yeah, so I might have a good recommendation for a mecha that you might enjoy.
I probably. Are you going to say Witch from Mercury? Witch from Mercury?
Well, that's I try to go for older stuff because I'm an old taku, so I'm
okay.
old. But I was going to recommend Gunbuster.
Yes, I've had that one recommended to me. It is on my list of ones to watch when I get a chance.
But all right, first trailer. What do we have, Yuki?
First up, we have an observation log of my fiance who calls herself a villainess.
Starting off with the villainess, which somehow is also my wheelhouse. that.
Interestingly, this one actually did catch my attention, but I just didn't have the time to follow up on it.
Yeah, I very much love that.
Subtle subversion. Instead of fighting the villainous fate, she embraces it.
Yeah, I also thought about watching it, but I just didn't have the time for it.
Yep. A subtle subversion instead of fighting the villainous fate. Yeah, that's actually what we were going to go in there. So overall, this has kind of been what the villainous genre's standard is a bit of, where you'll get somebody reincarnated as the villainess, but be the ditzy kind of comedy, not comedy, source of humor in the show. Overall, it didn't stray too far from its general tropes, but did provide a very good twist on it. To the biggest twist being the main character you follow isn't the titled villainess. Isn't the main villainess of the show, who is the reincarnator. It is the prince and what is supposed to be the main love interest from the Otome game. Then, of course, this was based off of that she got reincarnated too, because that has to be part of the genre. Oh, it just never stops being entertaining to me that the fact that we have yes, this person got reincarnated into a Otome game that she really liked. It's like, that feels like a one-off, not happenstance show, not a whole genre or sub-genre still.
I would say it's its own genre at this point. We've consistently had anywhere from 1 to 3 shows per season, so...
Yep. All right, so the major contingent points being, one, you follow the primary love interest from the Otome game. And the second being, the heroine that the villainess generally is kind of befriends or uncovers as the real villain in a lot of these shows is also a reincarnator trying to follow the story as well. I would say the biggest thing that comes difference is the villainess character is very much a good person trying to do bad things. Like, this feels like a little girl trying to be an evil villainess, and you just can't help but laugh at her antics on that end. While the hero side tends to be a bit more not evil, but overly entitled. There is a... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to make a note for Violet, but I can wait until after you're done. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I now got to rethink of where I was on that train of thought. It's not a problem. So the biggest things that were really pulling me one is the villainess as, not a main character. You don't get as tired of her as much as you do in a lot of these shows, because it comes about 3/4 of the way through it, and it's just like, oh, she's a dumb goof, but she's trying to do evil things, but it just kind of is endearing and adorable. And it's like, oh, she just can't be evil no matter what. She tries. Or even when she thinks she's doing evil, everyone's like just liking her. You don't have to just deal with that nonstop every scene of every episode. The princess perspective, while also icy cold, does provide a new take on this well-trodden ground. The biggest problem, or I don't say not so much a problem, I would say. The biggest thing I would say that really got me was they decided to do extra world building besides the Otoma game. Like, there's no stat screens, there's no windows like that. It ignores a lot of isekai tropes, but still trying to stay on this world, but while making the world a more real lived-in place with a lot more politics going on. So you get to kind of see what all these weird antics have in retrospect to a kingdom of power like this. Yukiva, did either of you said you missed it, but were you able to catch anything on this one?
I caught just the first episode.
Okay. Because I was going to say, the animation bit on this one is also very box standard. I didn't feel like it was low or high quality, anything, just very neat and passable.
Yeah, passable. It was maybe marginally better than some of the other villainous shows that we've seen, but not, like, significantly.
All right. And you didn't catch any of this, I'm guessing?
No.
All right.
No.
Any questions you want to have on this one, since I did the bulk of the watching on it? Or anything you would think about?
Not really. I guess it's just a matter of where do you feel it fits into the tier list here?
I'm curious how it used that trope of it being sort of a reverse villainous story. Like, did you think it paid it off, or was it more just a gimmick?
No, it very much did pay off in the end. I don't want to go into the final bit spoilers, but the last little bit of the show, especially with the prince kind of having his own solo episode in that one, really helped pay homage to how good or bad both characters were in an aspect of as a person that we're trying to get close to him. And it really did pan out. One of the side things it did that was quite hilarious is the princess was like, okay, you know what? I'm actually going to believe you. What were the other routes that happened in this quote unquote game? And you kind of get to see like the alternate futures of what the other romance entrance routes would be, since a lot of these otome games are generally the heroine, falling in love with the person of their choice, which multiple endings on that. But all right, if I had to rank this, a little piece of me wants to throw this in the trash because of how generic it is overall, but it did do a lot of interesting concepts with the story. So I'm almost debating on B on that one, but I think cutting the difference might just be a C on that.
Yeah, that's totally fair. All right.
Also, for anyone that's kind of looking through this list and wondering why some of these are so odd, we try to use the Crunchyroll. It used to be Crunchyroll would give special titles to any shows that they thought would do better. And we used to like to include those like that. Apparently, they figured out, oh, we should do this for all of them. So if they do keep up with this, we will try to switch to more classic thumbnails. If they ended up missing a lot and last season just happened to be a weird fluke, we will probably keep on the style. All right, and one last little thing for anyone else watching. You've noticed we go a little bit quiet during the previews. That is why, for anyone who's watching this on the VOD, you might not even understand why we're talking about previews. We generally either have to completely mute those or cut them out because of several copyright strikes, even though this is protected under fair use as a review show.
And that these should be fair use as previews.
Yeah, there's multiple layers of stuff we just don't get to have. But we try not to do any of our general talking. Did anyone actually manage to finish this damn thing?
No, I certainly didn't.
Okay, I got about halfway.
I think you might have gotten farther than I did then.
Yeah. So for anyone watching that absolute drug-filled hyperfest there, this is an isekai of pure gag comedy. Every episode tends to follow a new reincarnation or because was this a half episodes? Because honestly, this feels more like Japan trying to do an Adult Swim show. I believe.
The thing is, it often had like multiple reincarnations per episode, so each episode could be 2, 3, 4 like mini segments potentially.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. It was just, I think it was just 2 an episode, or was there one that had more?
I'm pretty sure I saw at least one episode that had at least 3 reincarnations in it.
Yep. But okay, so the absolute premise of this show is when you die, you get to get reincarnated. You get to pick what you get to be. There's a waiting list, though. So our protagonist? Yeah, let's go with protagonist. Picks all sorts of odds and ends to try to still be the hero while getting moved to the front for things people don't want to be reincarnated as. And dear mother of God, the gags, the jokes, all of the stuff happening all the time with almost, I'll let Yuki handle the animation side of the few she saw.
Yeah, so animation-wise, this is a very interesting show because the style changes with each reincarnation, which means that there can be like upwards of 3 or more different animation styles in a single episode, which is very cool, and especially combined with the fact that it is this kind of very particular Japanese flavor of like over-the-top comedy. Feels very much like the sort of thing that brought me into anime a long time ago to begin with, right? The one problem, and that really kind of derailed me from this series, is that it came to light that one of the episodes, while it might be doing it for parody purposes, decided that they were going to use AI rotoscoping for one of the animation styles, and that really kind of killed my interest in the series, personally. Because that kind of took it from being like a celebration of all these different animation styles, which felt really cool, to including something that is kind of poised to destroy animation and many forms of art as we know it.
Yeah, I actually forgot about that. Overall, I think the problem I had with it is this is a skit comedy. There really isn't too much of a overarching story going on here. The reincarnation bit kind of serves as the storytelling mechanism of the show more than it does the actual part of the show itself, and each reincarnation being very much a short little skit joke thing with tons of flair, tons of crazy stuff going on at all times.
It's a plot vehicle, yeah.
Yep. There's a term for it. I forget what it's called. It's not. At some point, I'll actually look up enough the terms I'm going to try to use in these shows and get them down to the side so I can remember them. But okay.
What little I watched seemed to want to capture that old
There will be
Excel
other
saga,
shows on this
Shinichi
list
Watanabe
that do a
style
similar thing to
zaniness.
that, but I think probably pull it off a little bit better. But we'll talk about those when we get to them.
Yep. All right. Yeah. Old Excel saga.
Yeah.
Wanaba? I don't think I know that one.
I think that's a animation producer or something like that. It's a person's name, Shinichi Watanabe.
Okay, yeah. No, it's definitely in that old school of just pure zany bullshit.
Yeah.
Where do you want
the director of Excel Saga and a bunch others.
Where do you want to throw this one is the problem I'm kind of having here, because...
Yeah.
He also self-inserted into Excel Saga.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta love those guys who do all the crazy stuff like that, because like I said, there's a lot I love, and I kind of want to throw this in the B for just how batshit nuts it is overall.
I'm tempted to say that it, like, all things considered, it kind of belongs in the trash category, but I don't know. I have very mixed feelings on this show.
Yeah, it's this is basically YouTube poop trash of the show overall. So let's kind of go in the trash section for the moment. If we think about it later, and if we get like a bunch of other stuff down here that doesn't seem like it fits, we might change it.
All right. Next up, we have probably the premiere show of the season, Witch Hat Atelier. I'm gonna throw out there that the restraint spell apparently is not forbidden magic.
Right,
No.
so S tier. Moving on.
Yeah, it's all right. For anyone who didn't watch this show, this has
Go watch it now?
Well, okay, yes. We don't be too forceful, but yeah, okay. We are gonna get that done. We're just gonna throw that there to start with. Let's get out of the way. This show has high-end movie quality production every freaking episode for some reason. Like, I know Yuki is mostly our animation person, but dear mother of God.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
Agent can tell the
my-
difference.
Yeah, my partner is an artist and animates, and we geek out about animation a lot. And so, like, I know like what goes into a shot, and when a shot is easy versus when a shot is hard versus when a shot is basically impossible. And this show pulls off one of those impossible shots at least once per episode. It's incredible.
It's absolutely insane, and that where we can just put that level of quality through almost every aspect of this goddamn show. This I don't know who is currently pinning the manga for it, but the show itself might have more detail than the manga does. That being said, the actual story and world building we have going on here. Our story generally starts following a young girl who's always had a massive love for magic, and through a series of events, loses her home, loses her mother, and becomes an apprentice to. Oh, I think I love the way was Prez put this in our preview. Not Gojo takes her in. Oh, come on. He even has like we're not in a gay relationship, like black-haired bro living in his house with him. Which I like. That's my only negative point about this. I found out that this is apparently a trope that Japan's been using. I just now started to realize it. No, seriously, like the white-haired, the white-haired, black-haired guy who, totally not like kind of secretly gay for each other. One being really goofy and out there all the time. The other one being straightforward and serious, but also kind of just being as much of a dunderhead or goofball as the other guy is as well. It's apparently a very common genre. Like I found at least 3 other groups like this. Like they even look the same. That being said,
sorry.
Go ahead.
Are either of you also reading the manga?
No.
I used to read the manga, and then when the anime got pronounced and we put to production, I set that down because I realized I run into the problem of if I read ahead of the manga, the show no longer entertains me as much. So I have to put down the series like that I want to go about. It can watch. So I'm probably 2 seasons ahead of where the show is going to be eventually. In the manga.
Mm-hmm. Just curious, because there's some stuff about some of the characters that is very interesting in retrospect when watching the animation in the earlier seasons. Also, it's really cool the times that when you compare it to the manga, they actually do expand on some of the scenes. Like, for example, early on in the diadem flower sequence, there's quite a bit of extra stuff in there that was signed off on by the mangaka. Who is Shirahama Kamome. And so that's really cool. And there's about 500% more Brush Buddy content, so you can't.
Yes, because the Brush Buddies aren't going to be an item that sells out across the world as stuffed plushie toys.
They are pretty adorable.
Oh, yeah, okay. They're also just a large white tube that can be used as a scarf. You're like, when winter sets in, I'm going to be seeing those everywhere in my town. I just know it. Also, a little thing I want to ask: does anybody else see their hats and think of the old dunce hats?
Well, that's
Yeah.
interesting. I think those actually came from like what was it? I want to say like not witches' hats, but like
There, if they aren't
There's
a
a history
British
to that.
thing, I would be surprised. But there's there is a lot I would love to talk about, discuss, and dig apart, but I do not want to spoil this for anyone else watching this. If you are seeing this, the only worry I'd really have with this show, how it can keep up that animation quality per season, per ep. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be able to do it for the whole season. The amount of money this show must have burned through it has to be absolutely staggering.
Yeah, there's definitely a risk there that it could pull like a One Punch Man and get passed off to a different studio and tank afterwards.
Ugh. Ugh.
From what I understand, the second season was originally supposed to be a second core of this season, so it's almost certainly the same team.
Yeah.
Also, spoiler alert: there's a second season.
Excellent.
Yep. No. Yep. No. Other cores that feel free to do. Bug. What?
Productions, yes, they are. They are a spin-off of the studio that made things like Apothecary Diaries and Odd Taxi.
Okay. They did Zom 100 too. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And
So
I mean, Odd Taxi, also an amazing show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I don't remember if did that one make S light rank for us too, or did we only put that into A?
I think I pushed really hard to put that one in S.
Okay, because I don't feel like I fought against that, but yeah.
Dapper Weasel.
Yay, Dapper.
Also, Coco and Agatz are 100% gay for each other.
Oh yeah, no, early on there are some Yuri undertones going around in that small house. Keep watching this one. This one's great. This one will probably be in our top 5 at the very least when we come to our yearly rankings at this next year.
Yeah.
I can't imagine much else topping that for quality. All right, what do we have next, Yuki?
Next up, we have Ghost Concert, Missing Songs. Now, this
I
one
forgot to
definitely seemed interesting to me, but I definitely didn't end up having time to follow up on it. It was hard to say, though, if it was interesting because it was so, like, disjointed that it caught my interest to see if it explained it all, and then may or may not have actually done that, so I don't know if it was any good.
So yeah, this show has a absolute lot going on in its story. Okay, so all right, let's. I'm just gonna ramble a bit because I don't know where to even begin with this one. So it starts off, our main characters live in a world where it is illegal to sing. All songs and types of music are made by the AI known as Muse, and it is illegal for any human to even try to make their own song, or I think sing out loud even.
Even just humming a tune can cause the drones to come after you and kill you.
Yeah, that's not an understatement. Yeah, that actually is a thing. And from there, the story follows our protagonist as she suddenly gets an itch to sing one day, and then joins a group of exorcists fighting against ancient spirits of note and power as they corrupt the spirit world while also trying to undermine Muse.
Yep, definitely a lot going on there. And all of a sudden it becomes kind of like Fate Stay Night.
Kind of. But all of the big action scenes, instead of being massive combats or fight outs, are music videos. Almost all of the big battles especially with the main character, take place as songs. As she reaches out to the spirit and connects with them. I don't want to say spiritually, but I can't think of another word. Spiritually, and they come to an understanding and either go, retreat or kind of join her in her soul. That was the main premise. Super massive plan. Okay, I got a kick out of that. Now the things I normally don't like to talk too much about spoilers, but the final lesson of this I actually really enjoyed, because it comes out that the reason the AI was doing all this stuff
It's a
and
shame
doing
about
that
news being
was because
evil.
it's trying to
I love
enact
a
world
supermassive
peace.
black hole.
It is projecting itself onto the subconscious of humans, trying to stop conflict, as well as other emotions that make you do bad things generally.
Thanks so much for the follow, Robin Moon.
Yeah. Now, the biggest thing to note at the very end of this, comes out, it's like, hey, the AI doesn't actually like doing all this. It is sentient at this point. It's just the corporate overlords who want a more controllable and docile group making it do it and controlling it to this aspect to suppress humanity and achieve their own goals in the name of their righteous cause.
Profit.
It's they do kind of, I want to word this very carefully, but it isn't so much about profit, but it bringing the world to a certain order how they deem humans should act. So take that as aspect from other groups trying to do that same sort of style and not just make money, but very much that felt incredibly topical at the end, and seeing the one of them get blown into a mountain felt very good, because is a bit of resolution that, hey, AI isn't evil. The corporate overlords trying to use it to control you are, though. I can very much get behind that message. That being said, the songs and music videos weren't bad. Everything else is disjointed as hell. This is 12 episodes, maybe 13. I should remember that, but I will make a list at some point and keep notes on everything eventually.
Yeah, it definitely seemed very chaotic, but in a lots of pretty flashing colors kind of way.
Yeah, there's even the story and the world building. There's so much going on because, the AI is like the reason it can do all this because it's actually like made with spiritism and technology, and the priest that they work with is kind of its dad. It's there's just so much going on here. I'm pretty certain in the last episode you see two of the characters and like, oh god, how are we gonna get out of this one? And then pop up later, hey guys. Like I like went back and double check. It's like, wait, how did they get out of that? They were surrounded by an enemy they couldn't defeat and had no hope of escape. Oh, they're okay.
They're fine. Alright, so where would you rank this one, Agent?
I kind of want to throw this and see. It's for a very specific type of person. Like, I want to call this a trash show. It's trying so hard with so many different things that it's got to be for somebody. But dear God, is it not for most people?
Fair enough. Alright, in that case, next up we've got The Ramparts of Ice.
Okay, I think I caught the first couple episodes of this, but I think either one of you two is going to be taking over on this one.
Yeah, I was a big fan of last season's Polar Opposites. You and I are Polar Opposites, and this is by the same mangaka, and it has a lot of the same strengths that I really liked about that one. This show, as a quick summary, follows these 4 high school students as they grow closer to one another and become friends, and in some cases maybe want to be a little bit more. And what's interesting about it is that none of these characters feel like cliches or two-dimensional characters. Like, they all have a lot of depth to them, a lot of traumas that they have to work through. And even in the cases where it seems like you know what's going on, like, for example, the character who has social anxiety issues was bullied when younger. It actually, over the course of the show, dives in deeper to those stories and those backgrounds and shows that it's not all as it seems. And I just really like the way these characters are portrayed. I really like the animation. It's got a lot of fun to it, despite the sometimes serious topics. It never really feels like a downer. It always feels like it's fun to watch, and the chemistry between these characters is just really good and really fun to watch. I watched this one with my family, and they all enjoyed the hell out of it. And it's already been announced that there's getting a second season, which is great because I've read ahead in the manga and there's some really good stuff coming up. So I'm looking forward to that after this season of Polar Opposites in summer when it comes back.
That's very helpful because, aside from it being on Netflix, which always makes me forget shows exist there, the thing that kind of held me off on this one was the particular subject matter, because that can be a little bit of a tough watch for me sometimes.
Absolutely.
So if that's like something that is palatable despite the heaviness, that definitely makes me more interested in trying to go back and catch up on this at some point.
Yeah, one thing that Agasawa Kocha, the mangaka, believable ways. And that just stops it from ever really falling into the too dour and too serious.
Okay.
Anyway, so for me, I put this one at A rank. I thought it was a really fun show. The animation, like, it didn't have like a huge budget or anything, but it was very competent with what it had. And the writing is just really good. It didn't quite make it to S rank for me, but it was still a very good show that I would recommend to anybody who's into sort of the subject matter or enjoys a good slice of life.
All right, you said A. I think you cut
A
out there
rank,
for a
yes.
second. I'll take your word for a little better for that because, like I said, I did watch that, and as a very, I think I also have the problem of I hear a very much high school drama show, and or even middle school. Those are hard for me to watch as well, so I tend not to those to get knocked down a little bit further for me. But this did seem to feel very competent. But all right. What do we have next, Yuki? I think 8th year is going to be a bit full this season because there was also a lot of really good fucking things.
All right, next up we've got the other kind of big budget show for the season from the looks of it, Demons of the Shadow Realm. So yeah, this one had a very interesting twist in episode 1 and definitely some really solid animation. But I didn't end up watching past that, so I'll leave it to you all as to the rest of the info here.
All right, so a little bit of notoriety because I have to point this out. Actually, Yuki, on the list, can you make Mao the next one we show up if possible?
I'll work on that right now.
Because the one thing we have to do with this show is the returning of a classic, massive hit artist and mangaki's story with a new spin, a new take on a lot of their character designs and that. So returning a writer for Full Metal Alchemist back in the day, coming back to do Demons of the Shadow Realm. So you will see a few returning design qualities in there. There is an Edward Elric character in this is just like, oh, I can't unsee that now either.
We may actually not have had a trailer ready for Mao, so I'll go ahead and pull that up.
Okay, good, because I also
not complete this season. It has a second core, so I don't know if it's on the list or not.
We do stuff that starts in the season, yeah.
Okay.
So we might not cover to its second core a lot of the time, but we will. Do on that. So Demons of the Shadow Realm comes off very much as a classic, not classic. Sets off as an anime set in a feudal Japan setting. And then decides that you completely flip that on its head with like, no, this is an isolated village sealed by a mystic bubble. Demons are real. Some people tame them. Congratulations. Here's 2 demons. Run for your life. These guys have assault rifles. What's an assault rifle? You don't want to know. And instead, we follow someone who has basically lived their entire lives in what would be a feudal setting. Now, hey, yeah, welcome to the 20th century. While still trying to figure out who's trying to kill them, what's going on with their family, why were they kept away, locked away like they were, and what is going on between the different factions of demon users. Violet, did you happen to watch this one at all?
No, sorry, it wasn't on my radar.
Okay, not a problem. But
Nothing to apologize for.
yep. So one thing I will say that this writer tends to do very well on, it also comes back to Fullmetal Alchemist, is while there tends to be a story of, all right, let's go here, or we have to fight this, everything always serves to progress to the main story or give you new information about the world, which was incredible because the characters in this are all very likable. There's no defined bad guy on this one. Yeah, it's very hard to say because it is an early mystery of what exactly is going on or who the actual enemy is. The main character starting off is like, I'm here to protect my sister. Wait, that was a demon? That was a disguise? You're my real sister. Hey, are our parents still alive? Maybe? What do you mean, maybe? There is so much I did really enjoy about this. Like, it was a little bit hard to start with because, like I said before, it's like, oh, this is the guy by Full Metal Alchemist. Here, Full Metal, my brain went to jacket there for a second. And like I said, there was definitely Edward Elric. There was definitely a couple other character human designs that he reused. I'm not too bad about that. I've watched both Rave Master Fairy Tail and Eden Zero, so the author reusing their character designs isn't something I have too much of a problem with, as long as they generally keep them fresh or at least give them new takes on what they're doing. And there was so much good in this. The demons, on the other hand, are also to jump between horrifying and somewhat cute. And that's sometimes they go for both. Like there's a general scene where everyone was kind of like, wow, I'm really happy I wasn't imprisoned in a tanuki sack.
Yeah. Do try to stay out of the tanuki sack.
If anyone doesn't get that, Google search it, safe search off. You'll enjoy yourself. Trust us.
Agent!
Come on, it can have a little fun with that. Yeah. Okay. Here's the problem. Here it really is the problem I'm having right now. I would have thrown this show probably up in S, if not top of A, if we didn't have Altair sitting up there already. And it's
just a burlap bag where I keep all my tanukis.
Take burlap bag where you keep all your tanukis. Okay.
Very
wait,
innocent.
And that's kind of the thing I'm having, because it's like putting this show next to Witch Hat. This show, Witch Hat, stands so much far above it. At the same point, this is well animated. I'm loving the writing, the humor, the act, everything was spot on, and they do so many different little interesting things with the fights they have, because very much comes down to, all right, how can I use my demon's ability, or how can I not use my demon's ability, with the protagonist kind of having to just what was the JoJo from Stardust Crusaders? Was that Jotaro?
I don't know. I'm not super well versed in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Okay, the biggest point I was trying to make here is the main character is kind of like, oh no, I don't like, if I can get close, I could just punch the fucking shit out of them and win. I just got to get close. So he very much is just, like, especially with his demons, are just two slabs of meat of, yeah, if we can reach them, they're dead.
Yeah, so I think the vibes I got from the show were probably A territory. It definitely seemed very well executed. It definitely had plenty of polish on it, and it was certainly competent in terms of like the plot twist in episode 1 and stuff like that. But it didn't. It just, as you said, it didn't feel like Witch Hat Atelier territory. It didn't feel like something that people will remember for 10 years in the future, or that will redefine the genre.
It's not Full Metal Alchemist: The Second Coming.
Yeah.
Is that still the #1 ranked show on was it any tier? I actually forgot the site that used to be ranked, like the big anime ranking site.
My Enemy List?
Yeah, my used to be my anime list #1, like for a decade solid.
I'm not sure. I stopped using My
Probably,
Enemy List after they announced they were going
unfortunately,
to
Attack on Titan.
Yeah, yep. But all right, we can look that up later. But I think a solid A. All right, we want to put this now. Here's the question: we do try to rank them in their own categories: Ramparts of Ice or Demons of the Shadow Realm. Where do we want to throw these two?
I've only seen the one of them, so I can't really say.
Yep,
speak to
that's
it.
kind of the problem, and it's like the other Ramparts of Ice is so antitypical to things I like that I
I
have
feel
the
like-
debate on that one.
Demons of the Shadow Realm is going to have the higher mass appeal, so if we want to rank it based on that, maybe?
And if if we can't think of anything else to keep to put one or the other over that, it's that's kind of where we got to sit there. You are the tiebreaker here, Yuki. We'll go with you.
Alright. In that case, as requested, next up we have Mao.
Hello, Viz. All right, so what we have here is the returning of a writer and artist from a generation-defining series back from the early 2000s, beloved by everybody. It's the fact that we got 2 of these in one season is just okay. Yeah, so like it was saying at the beginning, this is from the writer of Inuyasha, and let me summarize this plot for you. A girl gets magically teleported back in time and meets a kind of snide-talking demon who works and helps fight other demons while trying to uncover a mystery of why he was cursed so long ago. I don't want to say it's Inuyasha 2.0, but it very much is Inuyasha 2.0.
Ignoring the fact that we recently got an Inuyasha 2.0.
We got an Inuyasha sequel, which I kind of count that. And was that even written by the same person?
I don't know.
Feels weird. If it was, they have a goddamn quick turnover for their stories, or maybe this was written in between. It's hard to say. The biggest things I will say with this one, I like this a lot more. Anyone who's ever watched the old school Inuyasha, the story dragged a bit. Not a lot happened for long stretches of time other than, oh, let's go to a place. Oh, there's a mystery of the demon. Let's grab a thing. Oh, we grabbed a thing. Oh, the thing got stolen.
Well, I mean, it was a
carry on to next
MacGuffin-based
day.
Monster of the Week show.
Yeah. This definitely cuts that out and is very much progressing on the story. The other aspects I will say is a lot less domestic abuse in this one. Don't worry, though. They replaced it with animal abuse, though.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, so the main story of this revolves around Mao trying to hunt down the cursed Byakuya, the 7-tailed cat that stole his order's sacred scrolls and cursed him with its blood. The Byakuya being a cat that was starved to death, then thrown in a, if you're familiar with the poison jar, they'll throw 100 insects together, and poisons insects together, and then the one that emerges will be even deadlier. Basically, it got thrown in with the 99 other starved vicious animals and came out on top as a demon monster.
Very Japanese folklore.
It very much, like, there's to the point where that one thing I actually did like to do, the time travel of this is kind of used, hey, I'm coming back to the future. What's up with these crazy people going back this time? I'm not sure how accurate it is because I'm not too much in Japanese myself, or Japanese classical lore history, but it does make the main girl kind of revolt more important when she can kind of learn of like, oh, this is what this is. This helps here. And instead of giving her, a bow and spiritual priestess powers, no, she's also part demon cat or cursed by demon cat blood, or a lot of stuff with demon cats in this one.
Sounds like my kind of girl.
Yeah. Overall, they don't throw the romance in right away like they did with Inuyasha, trying to be, they're going to be in the will they, won't they for the entire series with occasional love interests and tsundere. It's, this is very much both characters are trying to look out for each other and feel more like, oh shit, or okay, I got to help you with this. And the chemistry felt a lot more natural and a lot more believable in a lot of things they did here. That being said, it's like I said, the story keeps going. So at the end of the first season, we actually start getting introduced to more tertiary side characters and more what's going on with the plot, with a lot more of it evolving into, hey, that whole cat cursing stuff and the main character being ousted as a traitor. That was kind of a setup for other things going on here. And even the cat's like, I want revenge for what they did to me. Honestly, it felt kind of weird. Hi, Doodoo.
Welcome.
It felt to me like it felt like the writer wanted to go into their old Monster of the Week style a lot of the time, but was either smacked out of it. The manga has that in it, and the animation and the anime crew decided to just cut it out, or it's a habit they want to go back into, but they are doing their best to keep out of because it fell there, but they never went there. The only little bits we have do pile on later and help build story, character, and world as it progresses in episodes, which it's everything kept moving. We had story progression, we had character development, we had progress, which was the biggest problem with Inuyasha.
Is it possible that was like a self-subversion? Like, they know from their past works that the readers will expect that, and so they kind of like throw that in there to like, hey, we're heading here, just kidding.
Yep. Well, that's actually kind of the interesting thing. It technically takes place in the same town for the vast majority of it, only really switching the settings to go from the past to the future. So you get to feel more of a Tokyo vibe, which I say it's only in Tokyo, but Tokyo being the size of a small country.
Sorry, for clarity, I wasn't talking about the physical locations. I was talking about the way that the artist, as you said, was like kind of giving indications that it felt like they wanted to do Monster of the Week stuff. Like maybe that was like an intentional false breadcrumb trail for the viewer, as like a nod to their previous work.
Yeah, well, it kind of felt like, oh, this is going to be kind of like just a weird monster. Then it's like, oh, wait, this little thing here is really important, and it plays part in this, and it keeps building off that. So they did better of hiding the breadcrumbs of the story progression in those little encounters to make them feel more impactful, it felt like. But all right, once again, this one does not get A. I think I also want to, or not get S. I think I want to throw this in the bottom of A at the moment.
Fair enough.
Because Demon of the Shadow Realm is much better. The whole time I'm watching this, especially if you saw the character designs, it's Inuyasha and Kagome. There's once again, they didn't even try on that one. Like, oh, we're gonna give him black streak, and we're gonna give the main girl short hair. There's.
I mean, at some point, it's like the artist's branding too, right?
Yeah, which was like I said before.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Takahashi Rumiko definitely has a distinct style, and there's actually another show on this list that maybe we want to jump to next. I don't know, but that sort of tries to channel a lot of that. Now, for me, I came to anime kind of late in life, so I never really watched Inuyasha or Ranma 1/2 or any of her classic anime slash manga.
Were y'all
Um,
thinking
so
Nakamura-kun?
yeah, exactly.
I'll pull that up. Yeah.
So for me, it was it's a lot of fun to see sort of what it must have been like to experience those when they first came out. One of these days, I might go back and rewatch like Inuyasha. I've been really liking the reboot of Ranma, so I think there'll be a lot to enjoy there.
Oh yeah, no, the reboot of Rama is I don't want to say it's better than the original, but like I said, I like to call myself an old taku. I didn't grow up so much watching old 80s stuff, but when I hit my teens, I definitely developed a flavor for it and went back and watched a crap ton of it. I'm an ancient weeb at this point, it feels like. So the Rama updates and a bunch of other ones have felt good, and this does that, but I think we are good. Yuki, are you ready for the next
So next up, we're going to do Go For It, Nakamura-kun.
So as you can see from the trailer, this show is definitely channeling a lot of that 80s, 90s anime style.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of those coming out right now.
Mhm.
I'm very happy with that because, like I said, I'm an old taku, and that feels a very right in my nostalgia itch.
Yeah. I didn't even watch anime back then, and it still hits my nostalgia center. So, as you can see from my avatar here.
So I definitely did not cover this show.
We had press cover originally. I think it was Violet was going to be on this one.
Yeah. So I liked it quite a bit. It's so one of the nice things about this that was really refreshing is that right in the first episode, the main character said, "I'm shy, I'm gay, and I'm in love," just straight out using the words. So there's no beating around the bush or trying to get things past the censors. This is straight up a boys' love series, and it is not ashamed about it one bit. It's got some really cute characters. It's got some real fun storytelling. Unfortunately, it didn't necessarily hit for me as high as it might have. Just because some of the stories it goes into kind of dip into creepy territory, and from what I understand, they toned it down a lot from the manga. So,
creepy as in like the creepy as in like the old style of romance, where it's like, oh, this is a show of passion, or now it's like, oh no, that's really, that's just kind of, why would you do this?
Yeah, there's a scene in one episode where the title character and somebody else who has a crush on the same character are trying to one up each other on what kind of like creepy invasions of privacy they can produce. Like the one of them is like, "Oh, here's a picture of him at gym class," and the other one's like, "Oh, here's a picture of him sleeping," or something like that. It kind of really just is some creepy territory. But by the end of it, it does get really sweet, and I would like to see where it goes from where it ends. I don't want to spoil anything, but it does some really. Oh, and another thing I really like about it is each of the endings is unique and has a city pop track that's playing, and that is just one of my favorite genres of music. So it's always a joy to get to the end and hear some of that. But yeah, so overall for me, I put this in B tier. It just didn't quite, like I said, it had some pretty low lows, but the highs were still high enough to keep it from being total trash or in C tier or anything like that. And the animation quality is pretty decent too.
Now, I did have a question about this one, because I saw, like, a little spoiler clip on social media that indicated that there was some, like, gender stuff going on with one of the characters as well, but I couldn't tell for sure if it was this show or not. Does that sound familiar?
There is at one point, well, there's a couple of things. At one point, the main character runs into his crush's sister, and has a brief freak out for a second about whether he might be bi instead of gay, but it turns out he's just really down bad for the character he has a crush on. I think there was some stuff regarding like the school play of people like cross playing for that. I don't remember the exact details, but
Okay, that doesn't sound like the clip
know
that
if
I
that's what
saw,
you
so it
saw.
must have been a different show.
Okay,
Okay,
might have been a
one thing
different
I
show then.
did want to ask, because a little bit I caught of this on the side. I think I watched episode 1, maybe 2 on this. Was it felt like it didn't kind of go over. It's like, oh God, I'm gay, and I have to like pay attention and kind of come to realization that this just felt like, no, I'm gay, I like this guy, and then proceeded to do romantic comedy after that with it, just kind of accepting all the facts without going into like, oh, but I'm gay though.
Exactly. Yeah, it pretty much just started out from that point, and it's more, when it comes down to it, it's more his social anxiety and shyness that stops him from going after the romance more than the perception of being gay or homosexuality not being
Yeah,
seen
it's
as
just
normal.
because I just kind of
Sounds really
like that
cute.
because it shows the progression of a genre. Because for the longest time, a lot of the shows we see for like gay and all that, either we're not going to come out openly and say that, or it's going to be a big part of the show about him coming to terms with it. And then it's just like, yeah, but you guys don't actually have like any gay, like just gay romances to.
There's no meat to this gay relationship.
Yeah. It's just, oh,
Yeah,
right.
this one
gay.
definitely avoids that. It gets right into the storytelling. And where the story's at its best is when he's interacting with his classmates too. Like the romance, like the rom-com parts are definitely great, but there's just a whole sequence of him just being a nice guy and helping people out, and people just genuinely liking him for that and respecting him, even if he doesn't necessarily realize it himself that that's what's going on.
So would you all say that there's maybe a small dash of like Comey can't communicate to this series?
Definitely a little bit, yeah.
Fair enough.
Like, there's definitely
Not quite
some
as
comparisons that can be
comedic or
made.
that, but yeah, I can see that from the protagonist a bit. All right, what do we got next, Yuki?
Next up, we have Liar Game.
All right, I take it I'm alone on this one again.
I believe so.
All right, so about probably a decade ago, maybe a little bit longer at this point. I don't like how time keeps moving forward. There was a massive boom on what was called the kind of mystery detective slash kind of what Squid Games turned into style of game, where we became two characters Squid Game, kind of competing mentally against each other for big stakes. The two biggest ones to come out of that were Kaiji and the one where it's a bunch of the insane girls at like a private high school. I forget what that one's
Well, that
called.
really narrows it down. You're thinking of the one with the gambling. Hold on.
Yep, that one.
Oh, Kakariguri or something like that?
Kakariguri, yes,
Yeah.
that's the name.
So there was this Liar Game came out around the same time they did and tried to compete. It took this long to get an anime for a reason. Overall, this I gotta find where I put that. You two keep looking this while I talk. Point me in the right direction for Liar Game. So the mates.
Top middle.
There it is. Thank you. So the main story is following a girl who gets an ad, who gets sent 100 million yen, if you're familiar with more U.S. currency, about $1 million, and told you have to give this back within X amount of times, and there's someone else who's trying to steal it. You are free to steal their money. And it kind of goes from there because, this is a game, I can't really report this, and then basically it just keeps progressing until she gets tricked into being forcefully participating in this game. The biggest problem she has is, she's a really kind, sweet girl who trusts everybody, doesn't understand the concept of lying nearly. Which then prompts her to hire a con artist to help get her through this game. From there, it's said con artist and her going through session rounds. That's the word. Rounds trying to get out of this game, because it's not so much who wins gets the money, it's who's left gets the debt. the games are almost all trash. It's the first game is let's just steal the money. Like no rules. Like you have to pay this back. Like going over, it's like put it in a 1 month savings account. You'll get the interest. If your money gets stolen, the bank pays you back. And it's like that's the first answer. And no, I'm gonna hide it under my mattress. And I'm going to go to the person who I'm also competing against, talk to them, and tell them where I've hidden my money.
I mean, I think I mentioned this when we were discussing the series, like, early on. But in reality, if you put that much money in the bank suddenly out of nowhere, the IRS is going to have some questions, and that money might still disappear.
Well, it's also Japan, so not sure how their system works on that. But in America, yeah, that would be definitely how that works too. Which even then, it would take a while for them to really dig into it. It's lost in the weeds. Yeah, the Liar Game is a deception mind game show whose mind games all feel kind of stupid. And the problems get solved by, it feels like the main character reading the script on how he was supposed to fool this guy.
Yeah, the thing about mind game shows is they have to actually feel like the solution was smart and difficult to predict. Otherwise, it's not interesting.
Yep. Or it could put on the stakes because the animation, or I'm not going to say anime, the character designs on this one are all kind of ugly generic.
Not only ugly generic, but ugly generic from, like, an older period.
Like I said, it's the two games, the two shows, the series it was going up against at the time were Aichi, who is one of the pointiest and character designs I've seen in a long time. We're talking 70s. His nose is an isosceles triangle. And every other character has that classic weird old style, and it fits very well and gives a very good pop. The other one being sexy girls covered in crimson clothes who are trying to kill each other. Then there's this one where everybody's in beige and looks like cheaply done anime characters from the early 2000s for some fucking reason. Which, okay, I guess that's kind of following the manga on this one, because I read the manga back when this came out, because after reading those other two, I was like, oh, this genre is really good. I love this genre. And then read Liar Game, and then thought, oh no, those two were really good. I really don't care about this genre. Which...
It's kind of sounding like this might be a skip almost.
I really... Yeah. Like, this is one of the few manga I picked up, read for a while, and then just dropped. Like, I have no idea how this series even ends. It's just, I got tired of it. It was dull. It was, oh, they figured this out. Oh, they knew about this. Oh, realistically, he had a rat that was going through the vents that had a secret camera that was telling him how much things weighed. That was not introduced beforehand or hinted at. Or no, you can do that kind of thing in the show. Like I said, these shows revolve on their games, and I could not get behind. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe this is really highbrow or high-end thought, but every time I just could not enjoy any of these else. But all right, what do we got?
All right,
sorry,
next
I came
up
out of
we've
nowhere.
got even a replica can fall in love.
Pulling all the arcs. Anyway.
So I did watch
All
this
right.
one all the way through, but Violet, this one
As did
was
I.
definitely one that I really, really wanted y'all's perspective on.
Yeah, so man. I really like the premise of this show, and I really want to read the light novels. It covers a bunch of interesting themes. It has stuff that could be like taken to be metaphors for things like for bipolar disorder and morality and dissociation and stuff like that. So the premise is, in case you didn't get it from that extremely long trailer, is that these people can. It starts with this one girl who basically can summon an exact copy of herself at will, and she uses her to basically do the things she doesn't want to do. She sends her to school on days when she's not feeling like it and stuff like that. But as it goes on, she starts to sort of gain more and more of an identity of herself for herself, to the point where she starts calling herself by a different name and falls in love with another boy, and so on. And like, it's a really interesting concept, and as the arcs go on, they take it to some really interesting places. Unfortunately, the animation, well, I mean, you saw it. It's character
Yeah.
design is so bland. The voice acting is kind of just flat. I
The
mean,
entire
like
show
the whole
has that
time
filter over it for no reason.
yeah, the stupid vignette filter. I was gonna get to that, but yeah, that is just why? Why did they do that? I don't
It
Okay,
would have
know.
made
there's
sense if they used it for specific scenes, for like emphasis or
Yeah,
something, but having it over the
no, just
entire
every single
show
scene.
all the time.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's like to the point where I thought like if it weren't for the fact the male love interest was in the opening, I thought he was almost going to be like a fake out and she was actually going to fall in love with someone else. But because he just looks so damn boring, he has no personality. And as the show goes on, he gets a little bit more of personality. But there is one, like I'm not going to spoil it, but there's one thing that happens in it that I think is really cool and they did really well. It takes place about halfway through the first arc, so I guess I could spoil it, but I'm not gonna because I want you to see it for yourself if you decide to watch it. Like I said, it's got some really interesting concepts, and I really kind of wish a better studio had gotten the license for this. But I do want to read the Lighthouse because it does really go to some interesting places.
Yeah, my other big criticism of it was that it was a little bit like slow. Like it had interesting concepts, but it was still hard for me to stick with it at times because the pacing was just kind of a
Yeah,
slog, even for this kind
yeah,
of show.
Actually, here, because this is kind of reminding me of a workplace show I picked up a little bit called Severance.
yeah. I
Where
mean,
would that be close for
there's
either of you?
definitely some similarities. It's not really the same thing because in Severance they don't have any memory of what happens to them, whereas the replicas remember everything that the originals experience. Um, to a point where like uh,
But interestingly, not the
at
other
one
way
point she's
around.
like, yeah, not the other way around. At one
So
point,
no
like the replica's like, oh, I
Naruto,
just
shadow
downloaded your
clones
information. I don't have
kind of
that
thing.
reference. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's not like the Shadow Clones where you remember everything that they saw and share all the experiences.
Yeah, if anything, it's well, I'm gonna be really nerdy here about my special interest for a second, but it reminds me of something that happens in Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. One of the characters in there also has an arc where she splits into two people, and it covers a lot of the same sort of ground that one does, but also kind of uses that as a jumping off point to explore different sort of reasons these people might have for and they did kind of spoil this in the trailer, so it's not really a spoiler. She's not the only one who can summon replicas. It turns out it's actually pretty common. It seems like just about every character they introduce has a replica. But the reason they have replicas and the way they interact with each other is different for each one. And I think that's really where what kept me watching is like seeing how they use that premise in different ways.
So something I definitely wanted to touch on was how did you all feel about the handling of that as sort of a uh, analog for some of these other things? Like, did it feel sensitive enough to y'all, or do you like were
Yeah,
things mishandled?
I don't think anything was really mishandled. Like the the parallel that I really well I okay, so I don't suffer myself from bipolar disorder, so I can't really speak to that aspect of it. But there is definitely a case to be made that there's a pretty strong metaphor for that in as far as the main two, the girl and her replica interact. But there is also another way of looking at it, which is sort of from a plurality aspect. Um, and it ties into that whole memory thing where the replica sort of sees the events that happened to the original as though they were like happening to another person, and in a lot of ways, for neural systems that can also be a lot like how they experience what happens when the other system members are fronting. And I didn't really see any like insensitivity or anything there as far as that goes. But also, like I'm only one person, so my opinion is not speak for the entire community.
Of course, of course.
Well, I'm only one person, relatively speaking.
All right. Where are we throwing this one?
I have it as C tier. Like I really wanted to like it more than I did, but just the animation and just the character design, it just did not. The technical aspects of the adaptation just fell a little flat. I would probably put it high C tier because, like I said, the concepts are interesting enough to keep me coming back episode to episode.
Yeah, conceptually, I felt like B could have been appropriate, but I feel like the pacing and the art really kind of dragged it down a bit.
Yeah, so it just barely missed being in B tier for me.
Okay, so do you want to put this above observation log then?
I don't really know, not having seen it. I think where it is right now is probably right.
Okay, because I was gonna say it's like I almost wanted to throw this one in B myself, but its genericness came off. It's good points to put it up. If this is like this was a good premise, but its bad points are keeping it down, I kind of feel like that's how that kind of goes.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair spot.
All right, then what do we got next?
All right, next up is I made friends with the second prettiest girl in my class.
I'm going to be honest and maybe embarrass myself a little bit here. This is actually one of the anime I was looking forward to most this season. I read the light novels and also the web novels because I really enjoyed them a lot and wanted to see the difference between the two. And there's just something about the way the characters are written and how they interact that really made this stand above like the genre and the promise of the setup. So the setup is basically a boy is in a class with two really like popular girls, and there's the so-called first prettiest girl in the class, and her best friend is the second prettiest girl in the class, and that's just what the class calls them. It's not what the main character himself calls them. And then the second prettiest like shows up at a video rental place where he's at, and they get to be close friends, and they hang out every Friday night and watch bad movies and play video games and just sort of let themselves be themselves around each other.
Engage in their special interests together.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought the anime did the series pretty good justice. Like, I really like the way they are portrayed. It was technically really well done. And on the surface, this show shouldn't really it doesn't really have that much going for it, but just the way in the details it's written, it really works for me. It really gets me.
Yeah, so I mean, the animation quality is quite solid, right? So it definitely has that going for it. The character designs are very pretty, which is also very good. But I think what sets it apart is, as you said, the character interactions, like they feel human, but also much more mature than we're used to seeing from this genre of show. The decisions that they make, while not always without their flaws, feel like they're coming from a place of an evolving emotional maturity that you would realistically maybe see from someone who's, going through this kind of stuff in high school and, learning about themselves and growing as a person.
So that's a very good way of putting it.
Sorry, you were going to say
for me, this is an A tier. I am slightly biased, but yeah, go ahead.
I did have a question on this one because it obviously looks like it's going to be like, oh, the prettiest girl starts getting like interested in him romantically, and that kind of puts the.
It's funny you say that.
Yeah.
So I am slightly ahead of this as far as the light novels go, and from what I have been able to tell so far, I think there is definitely a potential love triangle in the future, but I don't think it beats the one that people are expecting.
Yeah, so there was a hint at a love triangle starting to form about midway through the series. And for a second there, I almost thought maybe it could even be like some kind of polycule situation that was forming or something like that. But they nipped it in the bud pretty quick there. And the so-called prettiest girl was very quickly kind of cut out there as a love interest, largely out of kind of respect from her friend. I also wanted to mention something that I thought this show did that was different and intriguing to me was the girl's parents and how they handled this whole situation. Because we're used to seeing like very controlling parents and things like that. But what we saw in this show was not only were they very like accepting and like I don't know how to put it exactly. When they found out what was going on between the two of them, rather than get up in arms about it, you know, they invited the main character over for dinner. And not only that, but they extended an emotional bond to him that I thought was really unique because, you know, one of the subplots that's going on is his struggles with his own family life and how that interacts with the relationship that he has with the so-called second prettiest girl, or with people in general. And I thought it was really interesting that they kind of stepped in to fill that surrogate parent role for him.
Yeah, and there is actually like a friendship that grows between the main character's mom and the mother of his girlfriend's spoilers. It's a love interest. So it does definitely treat them as people and not just as like, oh, my mom's out because she has to work late, so that means you're gonna sleep over and it's just gonna be us. Like, there's definitely more to them. Like, I don't remember if this was in the anime or not, but when the mother finds out that the girl had accidentally slept over, her first response is like, "I'll make sure you use protection." And
I can't remember if that exact line was in there or not, but that was the general vibe.
yeah.
Okay, do we want to throw this one then?
It's A tier for me for sure.
Yeah, I'd say this is a fairly solid, at very least high B, if not A tier. Not an S though.
Yeah, that S hat up there is going to be daunting for everything else. All right, now the question is, where are we putting this in A
I'd
here?
probably put it below Ramparts of Ice just because the animation's not quite as good as that. And it'd be a toss-up whether I put it above or below Mao. But considering that Yuki said that she would think it's probably a high B, I think probably below Mao is a good place for it.
All right, then.
All right. In that case, next up we have the other kind of similar show for comparison this season. Gals Can't Be Kind to Otaku. So
this anime, the premise of this anime is there's a kind of a nerdy kid who's a bit shy and who befriends two of the most popular honest girls in class. It's basically an almost identical premise to the one we just covered, which is kind of funny that we got two of them this year.
Very different execution, though.
Very different execution.
So and
whereas in
the two girls being into each other is just a bit, right? Just a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a bit. Definitely just a bit. Definitely nothing there. Anyway. Yeah, the difference with this one is unlike in Second Prettiest, like there isn't like the girl that the main character, calling him the main character is kind of a bit misleading because they're kind of all three the main characters.
Yeah.
But he doesn't immediately latch onto one. In fact, like you can't even really say there's a love triangle because at no point is there ever a conversation of him having to choose one over the other. Like it gets brought up, but every time it happens, he's like, "Oh well, obviously I want both. They're both my dear friends."
Mm-hmm. In fact, I think at least in the translation at one point, it literally just said, "I love you both."
Yeah, mean, he said Daisuke, so you know. Yeah, that was in the last episode. I've been reading a little bit ahead, and I don't know if they're going to textually go for a polycule, but it really does seem like they're going to go for a polycule.
It hints at it so
There's
hard.
2 other shows this year that have done that. It's not that unbelievable. But yeah, like the characters are just so fun and lovable. They fall into tropes, but they don't really feel like cliches. Especially like the main character Seo, who like normally in these kind of what you might see as like a harem show, they're kind of like blank slates, but he actually like has a big like personality, and he has like a lot of warmth to him. And just the friendships that they build outside of the 3 of them as well feel really lived in. And at no point does it ever feel like the show's setting up one of the characters to be the true ending. It really, they get equal time and equal chances to shine, and it's just a lot of fun. And also the opening kicks ass. Like, you heard it, but the animation for it is just really good.
Yeah, so I'd say the big difference, Prettiest Girl is more of like a serious vibe with a lot more introspection and like kind of exploring things like trauma and bullying and stuff like that a little bit more. Whereas this one is kind of very much the just for fun version of the concept.
Yeah. And
yeah, I can definitely feel the wish fulfillment inside this one. But all right, where do we want to rank this?
I have it just below the second Prettiest Girl as far as my rankings go, so also an A.
Okay.
Yeah, again, this one I would say is probably like high B, maybe low A territory, so I'm okay with putting it just below Prettiest Girl. They're similar concepts, different executions, but they're both good in their own way.
All right. What next high school love show that I haven't seen anything on are we going over next?
It's in fact not. Agents of the Four Seasons, Dance of Spring.
Oh god. So, this anime made me so mad. I wanted to like it so much. It had so much going for it. It's got really, really pretty visuals. The music is among the best of the shows this season. It's Ushio Kensuke, who also did the music for Chainsaw Man and for Journal with Witch and Dan Dan, among others. I just love his music. He has this very distinct sound. Like, he has a distinct piano that you can hear and just know that it's his music. And the opening and ending are among the best songs of the season this year. And I really wanted to like this show, but oh my god, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah, felt like a waste of its budget, huh?
It's not even good misery porn.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was. I think I got about halfway before all right, I'm dropping this fucking. I can't even tell you exactly why.
Sorry.
Why do you want to put it? Because maybe you can put this better than I can.
Okay, so I have to talk about it a little bit first because I got a rant about it. So this is one of the gayest anime this season.
That's saying something.
Multiple times, the characters turn to the camera and be like, "Oh, but I'm not gay." Like, "Oh, it's just platonic. I don't feel romantic about her. I mean, I say I love her to her all the time, and I can't live without her. I mean, hold hands and cuddle and stuff, but we're not gay."
Yeah, there definitely was that there.
We're life partners, but not in a gay way.
Yeah, not in a gay way.
I think the biggest thing that kept driving me was the main character is obviously supposed to have a impediment of some kind, either mentally, speech-wise, or something, and
yeah,
it's either not shown well or it just doesn't translate at all. Because
a lot of people. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, because I could not fucking tell what it was. Is all I was gonna say. It's like I don't know what the hell her deal was supposed to be, but she obviously is supposed to have some kind of deal.
Well, So a lot of people did get annoyed by her way of talking, and I think it might have been worse in the dub than in the original. It didn't really bother me as much as it did other people, but it's definitely something that is also bad
There was a
about it.
dub?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. There's another thing is that like she's shown to have a plural identity, but the way it's shown is that she basically had an original personality who got killed off and got replaced by another personality. So basically, they fridged her own headmate just to, because like that character's never a character. I mean, about half the show is flashbacks to the same 5 minutes of plot, but still, you never actually get to see that character. The villains don't have any coherent motivation. The world building doesn't make any sense.
It's nothing meshed or worked. Yep.
It uses trauma as like a plot coupon to try to raise the stakes, but never actually like dealing with it in any kind of way that makes any sense or is sensitive at all. It's just, man, like the best episode of this that I watched was, for some reason, the version I downloaded had the subtitles correct, but the visuals and sound were replaced by an episode of I Want to End This Love Game. That was my best episode I saw. Anyway, yes, I have it in D tier. We don't have a D tier on this list, so I guess I have to put it in skip because unless you're
it's not trash.
Unless you're a real big fan of Ushio Kensuke, which I gotta be honest is pretty much the only reason I was still watching it for 14 goddamn episodes, then there's no reason to waste your time with it.
Yep. All right. I believe Yuki wanted us to take a little break here too after this.
Yeah, if possible.
Yep. I got no problem on that one. All right. For everyone watching, we're going to take a short little break. Go grab a little snack. Go refill your water. And we'll be right back. All right, hello and welcome back, everybody. We're here to continue on more of this 2026 anime ranking list. All right, Yuki, what do we have next?
Next up, we have Kusanoki's Garden of the Gods. So basically, this is we have campfire cooking in another world at home in modern-day Japan.
With yokai? I question mark because I was saying no, let's go with gods.
They're
like,
kami.
Kami, yeah, that's the better word for it. Yeah. So, okay, did either of you two watch this one? I think Yuki might have.
I didn't catch the entire thing. I honestly didn't feel like I really needed to.
This was very much a you got a couple episodes in and you kind of understood the format of this show. So the basic premise is a protagonist's grandfather dies and leaves him his home, to which he moves into and starts living in a separate town. I don't think he actually has a job because I think he ran the inn his family owned beforehand or helped run it as his job. But when he moves into this new place, he befriends the local mountain god because he's also incredibly spiritually powerful. And through the meeting that god, meeting other gods, and in setting up a house, they all kind of love to, I don't want to say live, but I think at least 4 of them live there, not counting the minions they kind of make or summon afterwards.
Yeah, for sure he seems to be as far as I got, he had attracted at least 2 of the directional deities, and I imagine probably ended up with all 4.
I'm fairly certain, because that's turtle, urine,
tiger, dragon, and
phoenix?
Yeah. And then Kirin is usually kind of the master of the 4.
I don't know if it was that in this, but all right. So yeah, a lot of chocolate. So you'll see Fujin and Raijin and a couple other, if you're familiar with Japanese folklore at this point, or
Chinese mythology, I suppose.
Yeah, there's a lot of interchange between the two. Honestly, it was a kind of nice, relaxing stuff. A little bit later on, they did throw in a handful of action scenes with like exorcists trying to like, oh shoot, like you write things on paper and like it just banishes spirits when they touch it. How are you this strong? I think they call him like the Jade priest or something like that, because all of his stuff kind of has a jade color to it, power wise. But this is just kind of overall a comfy come home and watch, and just see him kind of having a nice relaxing day for the most part, or trying out new snacks, or the gods trying out new snacks or liquors.
Yeah, it's very much that comfort watch, almost vaguely healing anime kind of genre.
Yep, I would go into that. It's weirdly well animated for no reason at some points too.
But others just completely static frames, so don't get your hopes up too much.
Yeah. Overall, it's like,
I would say this is trash tier, personally. This is like garbage comfort food.
That's probably why I enjoyed it so much more too. I think we had higher hopes for this start, but yeah, it's very much there. I would put this above ridiculous reincarnations, because I enjoyed it and wanted to watch this every week. That kind of fell off. Once again, trash is not for necessarily bad anime overall, but anime that's just like, it's not the best, but you like to watch it still. The most hit or miss of all of the categories for shows. But, all right, Yuki, what do we got next?
Alright, next up we have I Want to End This Love Game. Anyone else catch this one, or was it just me?
I did.
Alright.
What is the premise of this show?
The premise of the show is that these two main characters, since they were children, started a game where the goal is to fluster the other one and get them to admit that they became flustered by it. And so basically they keep escalating over time, and now are just like constantly over the top flirting with each other and saying I love you, in an attempt to break the other one down.
Yeah, they are at this point so far into the game that even if one of them were to straight out come and confess to the other one, they would just think it's part of the game, and so they don't even feel like they're able to do that.
Yeah, they no longer have an out for themselves, and they're both worried about being like mercilessly mocked for having lost, and refuse to give in as a result.
Yeah, so I went into this, and for the first couple of episodes, I wasn't really expecting too much from it. In fact, I almost dropped it. But I'm glad I stuck with it, because it actually like really turned out really sweet. It had some really nice moments between the two of them, and some really like well lit scenes and well animated scenes of just sort of where all the little details in their body language and such just really worked for me. But for me, like the high point of this episode, and like if you're gonna watch one scene from this show, you should definitely check out the Pokita scene. Because as far as I'm concerned, that is like one of the best first kiss scenes an anime has ever had. It's extremely good. Like just the mood, the lighting, the pacing, the little details, like how they shift their position as the game goes on, and the Pocky becomes more and more an excuse. The way that it's mostly silent, like there's not the sort of weird little vocal stems that you'd kind of expect from this kind of scene, and just the way they lean into each other, and the way their
palpable
body
desire
sizes.
and chemistry between the characters.
Oh, the mischievous look on her face when she stole that last bit of Pocky from between his teeth. It's just so good.
Now that said, the show is not without its kind of weirder moments as well. Like, especially because of the nature of the premise, there's points where the characters kind of push each other's boundaries, or sometimes their own boundaries, a little bit too far. And we saw some of the aftermath of that as a result of the Pokita scene as well.
Definitely. Yeah, like it's not, and like the animation, while it's competent, isn't like anything standout or anything like that. Like, I'm glad I did watch it, but it's also not necessarily one I'd recommend anybody watch, except for that one scene, as I mentioned.
I mean, I think it's fine enough for this genre of show. Like, if this kind of like romance tension, will they, won't they, sort of frustrating levels of tension show is your thing, then it will be your thing. I don't think it's the kind of thing that's going to break out of its genre shell, though. So I think that kind of puts us firmly in C territory for this one.
It
I can
kind of
go
felt
with
like
C. Like,
Kaguya-sama Love is War, but not as good. A little bit I've seen of it and heard you two talk about it.
I feel like that would be the direct comparison, but I haven't watched that one, so I can't really speak
yeah,
to
I haven't
it.
either. Yeah, I personally have
Alright.
it in B tier, but I am perfectly okay with it being in C.
All right, where are we want to put this in the high C, mid C,
I
bottom
think high
C?
C. Definitely above Replica, probably above Observation Log as
Yeah,
well.
it definitely felt better than Observation Log to me, and it didn't have the problems that Replica had in terms of like animation quality and dragging and things like that. It was at least consistent.
Yeah. Sometimes above average, but at least consistently had a good like floor of quality.
Alright, next up we've got Rooster Fighter.
Okay, so if you like chicken puns, you're gonna like this show. If you don't, might as well leave. Okay, I'm assuming this is a me only show again.
Yeah.
Definitely was a hard skip for me.
All right, so this is a more mature style anime with it's basically that old school shonen of the main hero going from town to town, village to village, fighting off demons, looking for the demon that hunted, that killed his or kidnapped his sister.
It felt
Honestly,
very
if you-
Fist of the North Star referential.
I was gonna say Demon Slayer might be the more common. Out of all the things on here tonight, Fist of the North Star. Okay, we'll get to that later. But it's closer to like to Demon Slayer kind of thing, where it's like, no, we have to kill the head demon or all this other stuff like that. With the big caveat being they're chickens, not as in like it's a world ruled by chicken. It's a modern day setting that just happened to have demons and chickens that fight them. And this show revels in that premise. It's like, oh, hey, we can make all the crazy puns. Hey, what else can we do with the chicken we can't normally do with a regular character? Oh, hey, why don't we just have a scene where he's fucking?
Sorry, just say clucking?
Yes, just straight up, he's just fucking just sleeping around. Even gives the chicken the O face. It's so unapologetically stupid, over the top, and hilariously violent. This is what that old school ultra violence 90s anime loved to be.
I would say it's even like 80s ultra violence.
Yes, it's very much in that category. Like I said, the ongoing joke of, hey, it's a chicken. It's his fishing move is a crow, or is a it's another word for that than just the cock, the
Crow. Yeah.
Crow, yeah. It just sounded weird to me when I said it out loud. I was like, that's correct, but it doesn't sound right. If I had to rank this, I want to say I would put this in high B. This is for a very specific audience, but does everything it can to do right. The biggest downside is the blatant use of CGI for the demons, especially when they're in their more monstrous.
Well, I mean, the entire show is CGI, and that was definitely one of the things that put me off the most.
Okay. I would say the monsters, they go a little bit below, or the demons, they make it look a little worse, but that helps keep like them in that crazy uncanny valley. I really do love CGI when it's in that, where they try to keep it more I don't want to say classic, but more higher quality for all the other characters. It had a very great feel on that end. And the once again, for anyone who loves dubs, it has a top end dub. I'm pretty sure there's some pretty big voices in this. But once again, high C. If you got Toonami, go out and watch it. If you have Hulu or the Disney Plus that carries that, it's a great fun watch and just to have a good time doing it. If it was lower quality, I would say I would throw this in the trash, but it does do so much right. I like to have it in where it is at. But
And
all
the
right,
humor never grows that wears thin.
Well, the thing is, it's all of those old genre tropes, but with chickens. But at the same point, because they can progress through so many different tropes and jokes and stuff, it never feels old. It just feels like a certain twist on everything they do.
I see.
You know, cockadoodle doo. But yeah, well, welcome to Rooster Fighter. The show's getting like 3 more seasons.
Oh dear. Alright, well, moving right along, next up we have the klutzy class monitor and the girl with the short skirt. Was this one all me, or?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep this one relatively brief. I watched the entire show. It wasn't worth my time. This, it wants to be like an ecchi show, but it has no ecchi. It wants to be a romance, but it's completely stunted and ham-fisted. It wants to be a comedy, but it's not funny. It has a couple of moments to it. We've got the class monitor's dad, who is a rap enthusiast who likes to engage people in rap battles. We've got the student council president, who it turns out is surprisingly cool and goes out of her way to explore the other side of things by dressing up as like more of a well, to borrow the term used from the other show this season, gal. But I don't know,
What about
like
the cat and dragon anime?
cat and dragon anime.
That'll be on the summer section.
Yeah.
We will be going over this. This is for the wrap up of all the spring anime. So everything that just finished, we are ranking.
Yes, yeah, that's different season. But yeah, I'm gonna say this one, like, okay, everything on the surface level is competent and decent, hypothetically, but there's just no meat here. Like, the most interesting thing going on was probably the 2 main characters' sisters forming a friendship in the background, and that says a lot about this show. So I think this one belongs in Skip, to be honest.
Ooh.
I think you are also messing up Barbarian King and Warrior Princess anime.
Yeah, that sounds about right. to me.
Barbarian King and Warrior
I've heard
Princess,
that.
that should be on this season. I think we have that
Yeah,
down
it is. It's in
here
the middle
somewhere.
there.
Yep.
Like, dead center.
Okay.
We just haven't gotten to it yet.
Yep. We are currently ranking them all. You have come in midstream. So if you would like to keep thought and what you thought of it, stick around. We should be going over all of your favorites at some points. Heads up, if you haven't seen this stream before, we are only covering the new shows are the hard reboots.
Oh, we already did this one.
Yeah, I actually had another copy of it that I wasn't able to find earlier. Alright,
Alright, so
next up we
show.
have High Bar's Teenage New Game Plus. Was this one all me again?
I
Yep.
made it about 2 episodes.
Fair enough. I kind of hated what felt like the central message of this show, which was basically work out, get conventionally attractive, and everything will come to you.
Yeah, the fat phobia was kind of what made me bounce off it pretty hard.
Yeah. Um, and to be fair, there's technically a little bit more to that, to it, going on to it than that, but like, that really was the bulk of it for the most part. Like,
Pardon the
oh.
pun
And
intended.
I can't say that the way they treated the relationships in the show was great either. It ultimately is a kind of a subgenre of harem anime. That we've seen similar shows before, and it's not a particularly good example of that genre. Anything y'all want to add before I tear it
I
apart more?
mean, the characters just seem so cardboard cut out. I think I made it 2 or 3 episodes before I gave up. It wasn't doing anything for me at all.
It's
The
another
animation wasn't great
romance
either.
anime show set in a high school.
That it is. But, okay, so, like, there's also a lot of, like, themes around jealousy and stuff like that going on, but none of it was handled well, and none of it was handled creatively or interestingly. And, like, there was also a bunch going on about, like, bullying and stuff, but again, the message was like, well, if you don't want to get bullied, just be conventionally attractive.
Yeah, and also like he he wished to go back in time to the beginning of high school. He was in college. He really wanted to go back like 5 years.
Yeah.
Like,
There was no reason he couldn't have just, like, reinvented himself for college. He didn't actually need time
Yeah.
travel. I don't
there's just
know.
nothing there for me.
Yeah,
I'd say a skip.
I'm inclined to agree. Like, if we look at it outside of how kind of bad it was, from the animation perspective and stuff, it was, I guess, kind of like C tier. But there's really just nothing redeeming it. I wouldn't waste your time on this one.
Yeah, all right. Let's put this into comparison. Every other high school romance show set this season, is there any that are better than this one? Or any that aren't better than this
It
one?
also look like a high dive Crunchyroll hybrid anime.
Yeah, I didn't see klutzy class monitor, so
I would say that it was still marginally better than Klutzy Class Monitor, but that's it.
All right. So, yep, hard skip then.
All right.
Also look
moving
like
on.
a Crunchyroll high dive hybrid anime. I'm not like an original for them. I guess it's what you're trying to say there, Jerry Wolf.
Yeah, I don't
Not
know
really
about
sure
that.
what
As
you
far
mean
as
on
I
that
know,
one.
High Dive didn't have any hand in that, and it didn't
Yeah.
air on High Dive that I'm aware of.
Yeah, just look generic. I can understand that. All right. What do we got next, Yuki?
All right. Next up, we have Always a Catch. All right.
All right. I'm pretty sure this was mine.
I did end up catching a surprising amount of this one, even though I had it listed as a skip. Weirdly compelling.
yeah, this is one of the ones I had. I wished I had watched rather than 4 seasons.
Yep. Okay. Because I watched a good chunk of this, and then I skipped a couple, and then went straight to the ending on it. I didn't think this was bad. I like the characters. I like the premise. I like so much about what was happening here. But dear God, did this just want to be a slice of life show that also happened to be set in a fantasy or in a medieval world? I wanted to default to fantasy,
It
but I'm trying to
also
think
didn't
of,
seem
was there
like a
anything
rush romance
fantasy wise
anime.
in this show?
I mean, you could call it low fantasy, maybe, because it's not very medieval. The fantasy element is in the, like, way the nobility is portrayed and things like that, as opposed to, like, a magic system.
Or like or a medieval society. It's which isn't too bad.
But
It kind of feels like they wanted to do that, which I got no problem with showing that, and this does feel well done. The problem is this is also not my kind of show again, and that's where I was happening on that, because I can't tell you how good or well the romance feels on that one, and that's probably the biggest bit on this show. I will say
I feel
did
like
love.
this show wasn't about the romance. It existed as a plot device, but I feel like romantic chemistry wasn't the driver for this at all. It was more of a comedy.
Yeah, which all right. So basic premise of this is the main character has been trying to, is it start looking for somebody to marry or get married or looking for a suitor?
Yeah, so she was supposed to be the heir in her family, and then a male heir was born, so she had to go out and hunt for a husband.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was. It did not stick well. Which opens up to the big gag. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next kingdom where my cousin
Are you
is.
talking about toxic marriage?
No, we are talking about always a catch. We will be getting to marriage toxin a little later. So it starts off, she goes to that kingdom. And unfortunately, not the crown prince, maybe the crown prince, secondary prince, one of the princes there, walks up to her during a big ball or party or what I don't remember what they call it, and breaks off his perceived engagement he thinks he has with her because he thinks it's a different person. I think it's his cousin.
Well,
Which
he thinks it's her cousin.
Yeah, her cousin.
He thinks that she's her
bad.
cousin.
Yep, straighten that out. Which then has her blow up at him like, I'm not even this person, you dolt. And becomes a big fiasco, which starts the ball rolling for all of the shenanigans, comedy, and other things going on. Which, like I said, unfortunately just did not pull me into well. Do you have anything more that you could say about this, Yuki, or do we just rank this one?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was weirdly compelling. Like, I found myself watching it when I didn't intend to. And it's not that it was, like, a good show, right? Like, but the execution of it was still entertaining enough for me, that it was kind of like a comfort
my
food
humble
sort of
opinion,
trash
Mitzi.
tier watch.
I wouldn't quite call it trash because this does feel very specific, but feels well done when it does. So I would say C on that one. I think I agree with the
Sure.
werewolf there. Now the question is, I want this above replica. I feel like, but observation log is the question here. I would say.
I can't really compare it too well to Observation Log because I didn't see enough of that one. It's definitely below Love Game. I would
I'll put it
personally
below.
probably put it below Replica. I mean, it has higher entertainment value, but Replica has a lot more substance to it.
All right, we'll get through it right about there. That feels good. All right.
Alright. Next up, we have 100 Scenes of Awajima.
Okay, I wanted to say, because a little bit in the trailer, is it just me or does this show use nothing but neutral colors?
It's a hallmark of the mangaka Shimura Takako. She's also the one who did Wandering Sun and Sweet Blue Flowers. She has a very muted sort of watercolor feel to her work that you can see in this one really well. Unfortunately, that kind of leads me to one of its criticisms, the biggest criticism I have of it, which is like maybe it's just me and my ADHD and face blindness, but I, for the life of me, could not tell any of the characters apart.
No, I think that's valid. I had the same problem.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
this
they
is
all
like
kind of look the same.
this is an anthology show, isn't it? Too, if I remember correctly, because each episode
It's an
follows like a new
anthology.
person.
Yeah, though the stories do weave together, like they do all connect. It is more or less an anthology series.
I couldn't tell that at
And-
first. Because of how generic they looked, I thought I was following the same person for 3 episodes. And then when I realized I wasn't, I just lost all interest in this fucking show.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the individual stories they tell quite a bit. I mean, some of them more than others. Like it's a pretty heavy topic. It has to do with like bullying and elitism and sort of the politics that go in behind the scenes in the this kind of sort of elite acting school, which is based on a real life academy. But it's just I don't know. It was really hard to follow like the themes and how they connect to one another, especially since all the characters look alike. I don't know. It for me, I put it into B tier just mostly because of that. Like, I, I don't know.
I
I
felt for
really do
me
love
like
the arts.
I wasn't enough of a theater kid, I think, to be able to fully appreciate this show
Yeah,
as another aspect of it. I feel like it's for a very specific audience in that regard.
yeah, for sure.
That's kind of where I was thinking. It's like, this feels so well done, and its message feels so clear and kind of that whoever this is for is going to love it. I'm just nowhere
Yeah.
near what that person's like.
Yeah, I haven't
And
seen. Honestly, I think I'm gonna drop. I would drop it down to C actually.
that's kind of where I wanted to put it, because I don't want to quite put it into skip because there isn't enough bad going on here. This just feels very hyper focused for its audience, and I was not in anywhere near that Venn diagram of anything that people would like for this. Even though it might
Yeah,
only
I
be
agree.
one circle.
and as an
I
acid
would.
test, I would have a really hard time ranking this above I Want to End This Love Game.
Yeah, I think I would definitely put it below that, but above Replica because the art style is really good and the animation is really well done, especially in some of the episodes where they like play around with sort of framing and color and stuff. And like I said, a lot of the stories individually are really compelling. It's just when taken as a whole, I kind of feel it falls apart.
I think that was the other problem I have too, is everything around where I live right now is saturated in those neutral beiges, grays. I would take brown at this point, and I am so goddamn done with that kind of concept. It's just
I think
when
where
I
it
see
is
that
right
in
there is
anime,
probably pretty good.
yeah, in anime, it just kind of bugs me. So that's kind of what led me to drop this. So that's where I'm gonna have the kind of that. And I know I can't fault you for your color palette overall, but because your color palette was unoffensive as a style. But all right, I don't think I got much more to say about that.
I was gonna throw something else in, but I lost it. Alright, next up we've got Killed Again, Mr. Detective?
All right, this was under my umbrella, I believe, again.
I certainly didn't watch any of it.
All right, I'm gonna come honest with everybody. I watched the first two story arcs and skipped to the last one, and then that was about it. So I did not get a complete watch on this one. Once again, this is a mystery, a detective mystery one, with the biggest point being the main character is immortal. He gets killed in the first episode by the accorded killer and gets help caught. Both of the mysteries I came across kind of come around that premise of, hey, the killer fucked up killing the detective because he can't die, but he has a better lead on who they are, and kind of use that as the big reveal. Aha, oh, I get this now. The only thing that really pushed this one apart is the overarching story of the main character trying to find the people who killed his dad. Two of what's called the seven old men of ancient immortals, or powerful immortals, or we basically meet two of them at the last scene in the last episode, and not who we thought they were, not what I thought they were going to be right away. Really interesting twist on that one. I would have more problems with this if it wasn't for the fact that instead of having the main character just, oh, I know how it is because I've read the script, it comes down to, oh, they killed me, fucked up, I got some more information they probably shouldn't have gotten otherwise, but come back and now we solved the murder case. Which doesn't feel as bad, but it does wear a little old after a while. And the assistant being in the maid outfit all the time is a little.
I'm not gonna lie, that was probably the only thing that could possibly make me watch the show.
Yeah, it's really interesting because the other ones is he comes out like he has an assistant, he has some apprentices. There's the assistant's kind of a love interest. It's a minor thing, but once again, this is a mystery show, and its mysteries are mid-tier It's not mid tier in the cardinal sins that shows like this have, but it's also very, we're doing this again, and we're doing this again, and we're doing this again. So different things, but the key coming down to he's gonna get killed.
Over reliance
Again.
on the plot device.
The title of the show.
Yeah.
If I had to rank this one, it's gonna be in C again.
Kind of sounds like it might fit into trash based on the way you described it.
If it trash is, I like to put more for, it's not so much good, but it's just kind of thing you can fun and consume. Mystery shows have a hard time doing that because you have to focus on them. That's part of the reason the Liar Game kicked its all the way down to skip instead of trash, because shows that want to grab your attention and then make you think aren't really good trash shows most of the time. And like I said, it's the fact that its premise is overly used, not that it's bad. So if you are somebody here that can get behind that and does like the mystery, it's mostly coming like, all right, he got killed. All right, what piece of information did he get from this that helps him solve this now? And it's always not the same because he never knows who kills him right away. It's one of those, oh, I have another clue now. It's the key clue that helps you unravel everything, but it is just another clue. So I think under 100 scenes about Joella, but above Replica feels good to me on that one. I don't feel too much on that.
I'll have to trust your judgment on it.
Yeah.
Alright,
What do we have next,
next up we have Curio Fan Club. I had originally planned to watch this show, but I was put off of it pretty hard in episode 1 by the fact that the very small amount that we see of Curio, he's pretty insufferable, and it just does not... I was not able to suspend my disbelief that multiple other characters could be this level of infatuated with him.
Yeah, no, it's interesting you say that. Because I did actually watch the whole thing, and I did like it a decent amount. It's like, for me, what really put me off the most was how like puerile and toilet humor you can get. That was what kind of, and there's sort of like cringe humor, which is not really my favorite thing, which did put me off at first, but I did stick with it. And the interesting thing about it is, like, there's a lot of this really weird sort of humor to it, but then every once in a while it gets these really sort of touching moments where, like, for example, you find out why exactly she is in love with Kirio, and also for why her friends might not be in love with Kirio but someone else. And stuff like that, and more of Kirio's backstory and stuff, and it really did have some really sweet moments, and the ending was also very well done. But like, it's fine. It's a lot of people liked how it let it show that characters can just be sort of, especially like young teen girls, can just be sort of messy and not in control of their feelings all the time, and it did a good job with that. Like, I have it in B tier, but I could see dropping it down to C, honestly, also. I think, honestly, I have it in B mostly because of those touching moments and because of the surprise Yuri in it, but...
Yeah, I mean, I knew that there could be Yuri in it, and I wanted to watch it for the Yuri, but I couldn't bring myself to.
That's perfectly all right. I will say, though, that it does have my choice for the best opening of the entire season, so I will give it that much.
All right, so you guys think C? I'm over here thinking like, oh, this is another high school romance with two girls that like one guy that's really generic and not too well defined.
Let me ask this: how would y'all compare it to Love Game?
I would honestly maybe put it just behind Love Game, but
Okay.
above Awajima, I think. And I don't know Observation Log because I didn't watch that one. So
I'm throwing this behind Observation Log because that's the one of the oldie villainess shows, and this is high school romance number 6 on this list so far.
I was eating good. I don't know. It's a good season.
All right, next up we have Aaron the Southpaw.
I lost weight this season. I think this was another Mjolnir show.
I definitely didn't catch it.
All right,
Yeah,
so
it's just you.
this show did one thing that really surprised the ever-living crap out of me, and I had, I think I might have mentioned this in the opening. So the first 3 episodes of this show take place in college, which, okay, thank you for not putting it in high school again. Sorry. And kind of goes through somebody in art school trying to follow their dreams of being a good artist. It's just, they don't have any talent. They have the passion, but they don't have the talent. And it's very much just goes through following him of somebody who does have talent, but didn't have the drive or other circumstances kept them from going through that, and just kind of getting shown up. Like in the trailer there, we see that person, like the person who like really talented, that can't quite do all this stuff like she wants to. See the big mural he makes and going there to vandalize it. Seeing how much it just sucks. Like, wow, I have no drive anymore. It's like you suck so much. Anything I could do would just make it better. Which, pretty devastating. When even the vandals are like, God, wrecking this would help you. Fuck you. Which definitely has a lot of impact on him, especially in those days. And after episode 4, we skip 10 years to the future where he works for an ad agency. And it kind of becomes more of a technical show of them going through what takes ads, him still trying to make something of himself and doing all these other things while meeting people who also have outrageous amounts of talents, but or have the drive, got to where they were, and just don't mesh well with him, because once again, it's as much as he likes this and does everything he can to keep going with what he loves as his dream and wanting to be great, he kind of sucks at it. And honestly, I really love that message of, sometimes you do things and you're not good at them, but you really like doing that and you put a lot of time, effort, and passion into it. And some guy who has the talent will just come in and just sweep and crush you so easily and then not care about it at all.
So it's Rock Lee versus Sasuke.
Yeah, kind of. And you're kind of following that Rock Lee. And I really do like that, like doing so many projects and streaming and other stuff like that. It's like, yeah, no, I don't have a lot of talent. I'm not a good storyteller. I'm not going to be here and be something people generally want to watch. I love this though, and I'm still going to keep going at it and doing it over and over. And I'm going to keep improving as I do it because I really like it and I will get better. But on that aspect, it's a really good show. Other than that, though, it's not the best again, because it doesn't really need to do much for art. It doesn't do much. The art, like everything's just kind of mediocre and generic about this. And it doesn't go deep enough into the technical side of advertising and all that to really be helpful on what that can be for that show. So it just kind of floats around in mid. Overall, anything else you guys can think you would want to know more about this one? I can't really say too much.
So it doesn't have anything to do with boxing, right?
No, yeah, okay, yeah, that was the thing that threw me off too. Is you hear Southpaw, especially if you're a native American or English speaker, I believe, and it's a boxing term. If you have no idea what a Southpaw is, you don't know. If you've heard the term Southpaw or have watched the Rocky movies, you know it's a boxing term. To people who are left-handed, I don't know why it's a term they use for artists. I've never heard this terminology used to describe a left-handed artist in any way, but yeah, it's Aaron the lefty, I guess. Doesn't sound as good as Southpaw. That's even creepier once you have the context for it.
Unfortunate.
Oh, more than you can imagine. All right, Snowball Earth, a mecha show. We get like 3 of these in a year. I am so happy because it's actually really, really good. All right, so before I get into basic premise, for anyone wanting to return to the mecha show, this happens to be a small subversion of the standard super robot mecha show, meaning, monster of the week, that sort of thing. We start off with our main protagonist and hero jumping in the giant suicide robot his father made. Yes, his father made a giant sentient robot that's only purpose was to blow up. The robot itself was quite unhappy that it was born to explode. And after this point, we get our first time skip because they fast forward on episode 1 through basically an entire super robot show of, hey, these kaiju are invading. I must fight out the kaiju. Going to the point where they even build a giant space battleship to fight the swarm coming in, and ending with them failing and blowing everything up in one last suicidal charge. The show proper takes place 8 years after that, when the main hero's escape pod lands back on Earth and brings him out of his cryogenic sleep, only to find out the planet's been frozen over in apocalyptic winter. The things that really helped with this one were, it kind of has that old Evangelion thing of the main character is shy. He doesn't know how to talk to people. He doesn't know how to connect. But instead of being like, oh, latent talent or powers, it's like, no, he's actually an incredibly coordinated and talented person when it comes to doing all this. It's just he has that social awkwardness, almost to the point where he's a bit autistic. It's the skills he has in this one sound rod just for even combat are absolutely outrageous, but he cannot communicate with anybody. But it, once again, is not a violent or creative person. He is a very giant introverted thing. His only friend most of the time being the giant robot he pilots, who very much just happy with it. He didn't have to blow up and die. Who's also trying to encourage him to go out and talk to actual people. The vast majority of this show comes down to him connecting with the lone survivors, them kind of getting back in touch with him, and then trying to figure out how to survive in this world. I would say that there are probably 2 main antagonists in this show: the kaiju that froze the world, and a group of kaiju warriors who want to kill it and take all the credit. It is interesting to see someone who as a counterpoint to him, who is all about the glory and the getting up this, and then the just generic force of evil that wants to kill everybody. I loved all of the character interactions in this show. Besides the fact that it's giant robots, kaiju, and apocalyptic Earth, everyone felt somewhat realistic and relatable. There was no cookie cutter, oh, this is this character, this is this character. Everyone felt like they were trying to survive or live in this world. And the main character, just, while he was incredibly awkward, especially at the start, it was very much along the lines of, am I the last living human on this planet? I don't know what to do. And him just kind of coming unstunned as that unwraps itself and readjusting to his world. Now, the one part I can agree that almost everyone I've talked about this is the animation and art style, especially for the kaiju and the robots. Not too good. Heavy use of CGI in this show, which for the kaiju, you have an unrealistic looking monster, it doesn't look too bad. For the robot, once again, unrealistic looking machine, not too bad. For the humans, they try to hide it really well, and they get away with hiding it a lot of the time. But it's kind of obvious, and once again, it's, even though the robots and the kaiju don't look otherworldly, they don't look good most of the time. I did find that they grew on me as I watched more of it, but I can't be trusted with telling how good CGI looks. I still think Beast Wars looks okay, and I think that's like the 3rd CGI show ever made, not like the 4th.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of 3D CG anime, to be honest. Like, there's some ones that it works okay. Like, I really liked Beastars, but for the most part, if I see 3D CG, I'm like, nah, I think I might pass.
Yeah,
it's usually at its best when it is indistinguishable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. That does go at some points. Like I said, it's for like giant, unrealistic looking kaiju or trying to make a character or type of thing that shouldn't look real in the world stand out. I like it for that. It didn't do a great job here overall, I would say, but I'm enjoying this. Once again, it's really biased. I have to put this around middle of B, I think. Once again, the CGI has kept it down really bad, and it does take a while to get going. Like a lot of the mecha genre, it tells a longer story, and a lot of the early stuff is building up. And it does not do a good job of the genre combining machinery and technology to people. This is just kind of like, yeah, no, these are here. These are things that interact with and happen. It doesn't really connect too well yet. Maybe it will later. Maybe it won't. I will wait and see. I do know we're getting more of it, though.
Yeah, I would say purely from what I can judge from the trailer, it looked like the CGI for this one is a little bit better than we see in a significant number of shows, but still pretty noticeable. It doesn't have that, like, horrible Netflix low frame rate thing going, at least, so that's something.
Oh, God. What is it with Netflix and making shows that have just terrible, like, frame rates? Look at you, goddamn Dragon Prince. Season 1 was like 4 frames a second.
Yeah, well, somewhere along the line, someone realized that you could mask some of the problems of CGI by lowering the frame rate to make it look more like traditional animation. But the problem is, if you do that wrong, it looks awful.
Yeah. All right.
And you can only lower it so much. Okay, next up we have Ujima, Why Sing When You Can Warble? A show I forgot was even from this season.
This show haunts my nightmares. A little piece of me is like, let's get a trailer that actually shows off the monster thing a little bit more, but I don't want to waste time on this one. My God. Okay, so this is part. Okay. I was thinking a little bit on this before because I was sort of like, okay, this is that genre of Japan shows of, hey, this weird creature comes to live with this family and kind of gets to know them better, gets to know each other better. They improves everybody's lives by all these altering events. I almost feel like I want to call it like the Mary Poppins genre. It's just sort of like a magical.
It's the Doraemon genre.
Yeah, Doraemon, I think, is the one that made it more popular. I was trying to think of like a Western style for it, but it's in that, only it's a giant bird person who's Russian.
He's a Russian blue.
Is that what he's? I don't.
No, that's an old Monty Python reference.
Yeah, no, I'm just this. It wasn't entertaining. The creature just looks like a person dressed up in a bad penguin cosplay. I mean, there's more to go in, but I really don't care too much about. I could not care for anything or anybody in this entire show. The animal was irritating when it wasn't like off-putting and like weird looking. And nothing about the quote-unquote cute animal mascot feelings character made me feel good or better. The way they got to bring out the reclusive older brother, like in this show, who was disconnected to the family, was by being really annoying to him and making him interact with the family. Like, what the fuck is this thing?
Animation-wise, this show did what it would need to do to sell a show like this, where they went like really, really over budget on everything else, and then made the creature super simplistic and stand out in that regard, which is clearly a way of selling a joke. But I think my main issue with this series is, who is this for?
Yeah, because this isn't like the cute kid genre, because this is definitely suited at like older high school age people, children, young adults, older. I don't. And the problem is, it doesn't feel good in that genre. All right, I'm throwing this in the skip. It's going down
Yeah,
here.
sounds like a skip.
Yeah, it was not good. There's plenty else to watch. Go watch Storyboard if you want more of this. It's still going. It's okay. Too good.
All right, next up we have The Food Diary of Miss Mead. Was this one all me?
I think so.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, again, I won't really belabor this one too much. This is very much our token food porn for the season. If you like cute girls doing cute things, wholesome, very light Yuri elements, clearly sponsored by some kind of tourism board, Japan facts and food, this is a series for you. Otherwise, give it a pass. That's what you see on the tin is definitely what you're going to get with this one. It's a competent execution of its genre, but nothing too outstanding about it. I would say, yeah, it's by that nature probably C tier. The animation's a little bit closer to like B quality overall, but it's not enough to elevate the show.
Yeah, the food didn't look as good as a lot of other food porn shows either. To me.
That is
Well,
definitely
I
a
watched on this one.
weakness of it. Like, they put more work into the characters than they did into the food, which feels weird for a food porn show.
All right. Where do you want to throw us in the C tier then? Because not that we're kind of heavy in the C's.
Yes, we are. I'm gonna say it's probably between Replica and Always a Catch.
All right. Nice little quick one, but some of these don't have much to say about.
Next up, Kill Blue, or Kill Owie. Clicked on a thing.
Yeah.
It tricked me.
All right. So this was probably the most available show this season.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
this
this was
was on
on, like-
everything, including YouTube.
Yeah, like officially on YouTube too. That's just
Yeah.
the hacks. So the main premise we have here is an assassin gets hit with a
It's Detective
drug.
Conan, except he's an assassin.
Yep. And he also now has to go to high school and protect the girl whose father owns the company that made them the drug that turned him into a child. While
In hopes of getting
Lee-
information about the drug to no longer be a child.
what also gets him roped into being her fiance, because whoever marries her gets to inherit the company that her father, the multi-billion-dollar pharmaceutical company her father owns. Not as in you just get to,
Nepotism.
oh no, not just you get to inherit this because you married my daughter and I want to keep you in the family. It's whoever marries my daughter gets my company. Clearly stated and sent out as a message to other people of whichever if your kids ends up marrying my daughter gets my company. So he has to pretend to be her boyfriend or fiance as it progresses further, which I'm going to leave out there the 40-year-old man who now has to date a 14-year-old. By the way, he's formerly married and has a 10-year-old daughter and feels very awkward in this situation, which it fucking is. My God, does all of the not romance scenes that they like to put into this feel awkward and kind of sleazy.
Despite the main
I will-
character's best efforts to the contrary.
Yeah, like at least they don't try to like do like a lot of like the pervy stuff you'd normally see, and they do err away from that. But it's like, guys, you animators, writers, like you have this guy, a 40-year-old man pretending to
Hello,
be
how
this.
do?
Hi, welcome. Nice to meet you. I'm not saying your name out loud.
Yeah. great show to come on to. We're talking about 40-year-old man dating a 14-year-old. How weird that feels. Other than that, this follows that, hey, we're gonna do an arc, this new character shows up, and then we're gonna do this new arc, this new character shows up, we're gonna do this arc, this new character shows up, and they're gonna have to fight them on like their old terms. It's like, oh, this is gonna be an assassin battle. Oh, this is gonna be a basketball game. Oh, this is gonna be another
Agent, we might want to cut down on the synopsis a little bit because we're only about halfway through our series at this point.
Yeah, we might have to do that. The problem is like these have been really good. This is a very interesting series. I don't. Oh, this is trash on my thing. This is probably one of the purest indications of isekai, not like a style of trash show. This is shonen weirdness. It's if you start thinking about any of this too much, it starts raising too many questions. It's really well done though, so I will put this at the top of blue or top of trash.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get, like, top-tier Sakuga in this or anything like that, but it's competently executed as a shonen. And the character designs are nice. I'll also throw out there that the opening theme especially is a real banger. And the animation that goes along with it isn't bad either.
Yeah, I've read the manga for that a little bit and enjoyed it, but I haven't seen the anime.
It's okay overall. Like I said, we're about to throw in the trash just because it's trash shonen overall. But all right, what we got next, Yuki?
All right. Next up, we've got Ichijoma Mankatsu Gorashi. Was this one all me?
Yep.
Uh-oh, autoplaying. Violet, did you catch this one at all?
No.
Alright. Yeah, so it really is just like a cute girls doing cute things, with some vague, Yuri thrown into the mix. In particular, one scene involves one character after another coming across the other girls in a room and thinking that they're having sex, and then wanting them to be having sex so that they can see, and then finding out that they're not and being disappointed by it and going into the room to join them so that the supposed orgy keeps growing until all of the characters have run through, and it's clear that they're all actually into each other on some level, but it's really more of just a cutesy humor show. I would say it's really not trash. This is probably like C tier. Nothing great about the animation. This is just like, if this is your kind of show, it's your kind of show. Probably just below Food Diary.
Oof. So yeah, it's barely missed the trash pile. Which might be a good thing. I remember when the trash, we had the seasons when the trash is overflowing, but now we're just swimming in mediocrity.
Alright, we had a request to move up a few of the shows, so I'm gonna start doing that. So next up we have Needy Girl Overdose.
Okay, I think I'm the one who watched the most of this, possibly the only one who watched it.
Probably. I did watch the first episode, and it was quite a fever dream. Having played the game, I had no concept of what was going on.
All right. Well, time for me to dig in. Okay, so Needy Girl Overdose is definitely not for everyone. It deals with some pretty heavy topics. It deals with self-harm, suicide, drug abuse, sexual assault, stalking, harassment, bullying, domestic abuse, gambling addiction, misogyny. It really dives deep into some of the darker sides of the human psyche. But unlike certain other shows we talked about tonight, it doesn't feel cheap or exploitative. Actually, if I were to compare it to anything like the one from last season, especially Shibo Yugi, reminds me a lot of it in just the way it sort of uses things like collage and mise-en-scène, if I can be pretentious for a second, but then again, this anime is pretty pretentious, so it's not unearned. So to summarize, it follows the internet streamer OMG Kawaii Angel, who is the, well, not main character of the game, but the character that you sort of princess simulator game style raise and bring her to fame. And this takes place after the game, after the quote unquote good ending, where she has like reached her heights of fame and packing entire stadiums full of otaku to come see her perform. And it's about sort of how easy it is to fall from grace when you're at the top of your game. But it's also a story about Kashe, who's a beauty school dropout, who's living with a deadbeat boyfriend, who sort of idolizes the glamorous lives of these internet streamers and uses them to sort of dream about dragging her out of her dreary life and into something much bigger. But it's also a story about Karamazov, who are a trio of queer polyamorous rivals to K-Angel. And that's not me reading into it. That's literally what they are. And also, they use the power of sapphic polyamorous love to overcome their obstacles.
Okay,
But
okay.
also, it's no, it's pretty textual. But overall, it's like a dissection of the effect that internet fame can have on young people's psyches and how the always online nature of celebrity can destroy any hope of having a normal life, and how the constant pressure to perform can destroy your mental health and lead you down a path of drug abuse and self-harm as a way of coping with the harm the outside world inflicts with offhand remarks and trollish chat messages. But then there's a battle of the bands with some really killer music and choreography that ends in a literal battle that evokes imagery from everything from Kamen Rider and Akira to Night on the Galactic Railroad and Tron.
Crazy.
And just when you think you have a handle on what it's about, it'll cut to a live action puppet sequence or a 2000s era Adult Swim animated comedy or a parody of Initial D or a David Lynch-esque camera shot of two people carrying a door through a monochrome city or a man on the street interview of random Japanese pedestrians. And it does.
It was definitely
jumps through
very
all
hard
these-
to follow.
Oh yeah, it jumps through all these different art styles, and they all are used to reinforce the themes and messages of what's going around and not detract from it. Unlike, like it sounds like a ridiculous reincarnation kind of tried to do and didn't quite succeed at. And it there's generally just a lot of talent on show. Like the show has a tiny budget. You can tell because they keep cutting away to like static shots or reusing footage or like half the time they'll cut away to just text on a black background, but it really works pretty aesthetically. It's got this sort of vaporwave, hyper pop aesthetic to the whole thing that is just really unique and really taps into that nostalgia feeling and stuff. Like, I don't know, it's just so good.
It was
Like,
definitely nothing if not stylish.
It is. It's got style, yeah. And if nothing else, it's got that going for it. And like, it might not always like make a lot of sense on the first viewing. I feel like I really want to rewatch it just to sort of get some of the more deeper meanings. Like it dips into things like Dostoevsky and like the Bible and just all these classical music. And I don't know. It's got a lot going for it. It's got some really interesting characters. The animation for its low budget is really well done, and I have it in S tier. Like it's my third favorite anime of the season.
Interesting. So as an acid test, do y'all think it would bring in people from outside anime, or that it would, stand the test of time as like a masterwork?
It's a tough one because again, it is fairly like it's got a lot of content warnings to get through first. Like it's not going to be for everyone. I think it reminds me a lot of Perfect Blue in that sort of way and sort of the stuff it tackles. If it's not S tier, then it's definitely high A. Like I did debate a little bit on whether to put it in S or A tier, but I ended up putting it in S tier for me. So I think I would definitely put it at the top of A tier if not S tier.
That's a lot. If he does that well, I can see it redeemed the Shadow Realms because that's just like a high end. That's basically just a master crafted modern show. This feels like a real changer, but
There's
Alright, we will
nothing
go
else
there.
like Needy Girl Overdose out there.
It's very high concept for sure. Like I feel like I can't rate it if only because it's well beyond my comprehension.
Yeah, like each episode, you could write a whole essay about just diving deep into sort of the symbolism and the analogies and stuff that it dives into.
okay, I kind of feel bad for missing it
It's
now.
really unique. I mean,
All right, what?
Also
Yeah.
extremely confusing though.
Oh yeah, it's nothing if not confusing.
All right, what do we got next, Yuki?
Next up, we've got
I'll tell you what,
Akane. Go ahead.
If you watch one episode of it, I think it's episode 10. It's called Antichrist Superstar. If you watch that one and you like what it's got going on, then I think you might enjoy the whole show.
Okay. All right. So next up, we've got Akane Banashi.
So am I the only one who watched this? I think so.
I
What was
definitely
this on?
didn't.
It was on Netflix.
Nope. Okay, that's why I saw it, but I didn't recognize it.
Mhm.
Like-
Yeah, so the premise of the show is it's basically a shonen revenge anime, but instead of martial arts, they use rakugo, rakuga. It's basically her father gets is taking a test to become a master, but instead of that, the sort of master expels him and his entire class, and she wants to try and basically get revenge for that by becoming the best rakugo there is, rakugoka there is, and it's, if you're interested at all in the art, which is sort of a Japanese art of storytelling / comedy, that has a lot of really interesting aspects to it, then you'll probably like this show. If you don't, then there's probably not a lot in this one going on for it. Like, the voice acting is one of its high points. Like, the voice actress for Akane really does a tremendous job. And the animation, it's sometimes a bit like overblown, how like it's over animated, like has speed lines all the time and crash zooms and stuff like that. So like it got a lot. It was highly anticipated by a lot of people. The manga itself is extremely popular, but for me, I kind of couldn't really get into it that much. I really wanted to, but it kind of left me feeling like it just didn't grab me that much.
I feel like it's a hard sell outside of Japan because it's such a traditional art that really has no context for
Yeah.
people outside of Japan.
Like, they do a good job of introducing you to it and explaining what it is, but if you don't really have any relationship to the art, then it's probably going to be a hard sell.
Yeah, it's not like Initial D or something like that where it can draw you in from the outside into an interest that's common for you.
I will say the voice actress who did the main lead, Kane, also was Kashe from Needy Girl Overdose and Koyuki from Ramparts of Ice, and also Iraha from Cosmic Princess Kaguya. I don't know if you guys talked about that at all, but that is an incredible anime that, because it's a movie, probably won't get brought
No,
up.
we only cover series, yeah.
It is definitely worth watching if you haven't already. Anyway. But yeah.
Where are we ranking this one?
I have it in
You said B?
Yeah, I think if you're a fan of the art form, you would go a lot higher, or if you like the manga, but probably, yeah, right about there is probably perfect.
All right.
All right.
What we got next, Yuki?
Next up, we have Botan Kamina fully blossoms when drunk. Now, I will note for folks that we're getting into kind of the Adult Swim section a little bit early here. We still have a few non-Adult Swim shows as well, but from here on out, you may see more adult themes with things like alcohol use, drug use, nudity, sexuality, things of that nature. You have been warned.
There's at least one kid show still on the list, too.
So, I mean, about time. Now, I'll admit that I am not a huge fan of food porn anime. I kind of have issues with sort of eating in general that make me kind of bounce off of those. So I was gonna give this one a pass, but then somebody on Bluesky pointed out that the anime literally has the word Yuri in the title, and that made me realize that it's probably something I should be watching. And I'm really glad I did because it's a slice of life anime about college girls who explore the world of alcoholic beverages as well as Japan and also their feelings for one another. And like that alone would have been enough for me to get into the show, but Kamina Vatan just took that idea and pretty much literally said, "Hold my beer." Uh, it's You might have seen it in that trailer a little bit. If you wondered why it didn't feel like the art styles from shot to shot lined up, there's a reason for that, and that's because every single episode, by request of the mangaka, has an entirely different art style. It's basically they let the art team just go wild and really show off their creative ideas and it's really unique because from episode to episode it goes from sketchy loose character animation to maximalists backdrops and impressionistic and designs, and then
Yeah, I think
these
it was
like
episode
really
3
sharp scene
especially that stood out
compositions.
with the
Yeah,
like
that was
really
like
squiggly
basically
style.
yeah, that was basically that one I think was a love letter to Shaft. And it's just it feels fresh every time. Like you never know what you're going to expect, but every time it feels like it could all be like little short movies on in their own right. Um, and again, this is for a Yuri anime. Like Yuri almost never gets adapted, and when it does, like they almost never get a budget. But this one is just it's got like at least three couples that form throughout the whole thing. There's um, really just beautiful animation, backgrounds, scenery, music. Like the opening that you just heard is from a band called Yonige, who have an album called Girls Like Girls. So that really feels thematically appropriate. But like I've just been listening to their music nonstop ever since the show aired. And the endings are all like these unique watercolor animated stories that are essentially fanfics to the manga. They're not from the original source material, but they really bring the characters' backstories to life and show them in different lights. Like it's just. I will say one bad thing about it though is that IPAs are gross, and I don't know why they think they're great. But other than that, it if Witch Hat Atelier was not this year, this would have been my anime of the season, and it wouldn't have been particularly close. It's just so good.
Yeah, I'm also a proponent of honestly putting this in the S tier. Um,
Oh yeah,
this show,
if it's
Oh,
not in the
damn.
S tier,
yeah,
then something's gone wrong because
yeah, it's one of those like very much a masterpiece within its genre kind of shows. The buzz on this one has been just incredible from people in the community who were just really, really connecting with this. Um, I myself don't drink, um, but despite that, I was, able to, I feel, fully enjoy this show. And that also says a lot about it, I think. Like, I almost gave it a pass myself because of the, heavy alcohol content of it. But I was very glad that I stuck with it.
Heavy alcohol content.
yeah. Well, that is for me. Those are the top three: is Witch Hat Atelier, Kamina Batan, and Needy Girl Overdose. I actually don't have too much to say on any of the rest of the ones here, except for maybe Marriage Toxin and Kanan Sama. And
I
even
do
those I
have
haven't
those
actually
queued up
finished
next in
watching.
case you want to stick around for them, but if not.
Man, if it's getting too late for you, let us know. Like, you don't have to stay. Thank you for covering what you have, though.
Yeah, is there coverage on those two? Let's see, Marriage Toxin. It looks
I
like
definitely
you saw
watched both of them, yeah.
Agents
Yep,
and
I watched all the
Kanan.
Marin
Okay.
Toxin.
Yeah, then I think I am actually going to call it here because it's the sun's about to come up.
Oh, dear.
I mean, it comes up at
Oh,
about
dang.
3:30 a.m., so that's not really saying much, but still.
Fair enough. It's very helpful to be asleep before that happens.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
thank
I
you
had a
all
lot
so
of
much
fun
for
talking
joining
about
us.
anime with you, and
Yes.
I hope the people listening enjoyed my rambling about gay girls drinking and smoking and being gay together, and also about Kamina Baton. So.
Before y'all go, real quick, is there anything y'all would like to plug or shout out or anything like that?
I mean, yeah, you can follow me on Bluesky. Like I said at the beginning, my handle is Deer in the Lilies. That's also where you can find my AO3 account. I have some stories up there. If you are interested at all in crossover fanfics that build a shared universe from a bunch of random anime that I like, and or have seen the anime just because, which I think is like 2 people. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna pivot. I'm gonna plug the anime 2017's anime just because not enough people have seen it and it's really good.
Also, I'll throw out with regards to y'all's fanfics, very, very thoroughly researched fanfics.
Yeah, I have a problem. Yeah, it's been fun, and enjoy the rest of the show, everybody.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Yep, it was fun.
Bye now.
Night-night.
Good night. Now, hopefully, they left the call and it didn't kick everyone else out.
I doesn't appear to have kicked anyone else. All right.
All right.
So with that,
Probably
next up,
start powering through a few more of these a little bit quicker, but
yeah, we do have Marriage Toxin up next.
yay. The fuck? God, you should have cut it earlier. Okay. All right. So the show premise follows the leader of the Poison Clan, an assassination family who have perfected the arts of poisoning or assassination through poisoning for generations. Who now has to get married, or his
Sister will be forced out of her lesbian relationship to take a male lover in order to bear heirs for the clan.
Yep. And we follow him. We follow him throughout those stories as he attempts to get a fiance. Yeah, let's go with fiance. I like that. Sounds better. And in the meantime, fight other members of other assassination families as they try to take out their targets, and he tries to get close to women.
Women.
I guess would be the way to put that. Yeah. Which overall, a lot of interesting fights you'd expect out of this. I would expect out of a premise like that too much. Almost all of the clans feel like they have like crazy superpowers. His being not only poisoning his opponent, but poisoning himself to increase his stuff. Stats or physical abilities.
Yeah, so his abilities, the closer he gets to death, the more powerful he becomes. And as a poison master, he is highly resistant to toxins, so he poisons himself to make himself more powerful temporarily before he dies.
Yep.
So, I'll throw out there, also, for the most part, think it's pretty good how they handled, a lot of the, gay, queer, gender-related stuff in the show. They handle it very casually for the most part, which is nice. But there are definitely moments of, like, gay panic and stuff like that thrown in there.
Yep. A few other twists I don't think we're going to reveal too much, but overall, where do you think this one's sitting, Yuki?
This one definitely belongs at least up in A, I would say. It's a very solid show.
Gal.
Probably above I would say probably above Mao, personally.
Yeah, I can see that. I did enjoy this the further I got into it. Mao felt like it was treading too much ground again. Although hard to say on that one, a little bit of the bias now, because I watched a shit ton of Inuyasha as a kid.
Indeed. All right. Next up, Mistress Kanon is devilishly easy.
Man, I kind of wish we would have had subtitles work for that one, but shows advertise better, goddammit. So we have Ichi Trash.
Yeah. I would say it's also, the relatively, well, not that rare, I guess, but this is your adult kink-based humor series. Personally, I loved it. It's not the best by objective standards, though.
Nope. But it is entertaining. It is fun to watch. I had a great time with all the characters. There's just enough subversion of the general genre that it was entertaining all through and through. Like, Canon is incredibly aggressive but naive with most of the stuff she likes too, which was a nice change of pace. Not just having a commanding tsundere or other such classic one on that one.
Yeah, she's out there trying her best and thinking she's hot shit, but being a total virgin.
Okay, I think Trash sums this up pretty well overall.
Yeah, I'd say high end of Trash, yeah?
I'll put it in the top of Trash, but this is if you there's a whole subset of shows on Ocean Vale, which we may continue to start covering going forward. In the I can't believe it's not hentai. This probably would have done even better if it was on that.
No,
Maybe.
Ocean Vale isn't I can't believe it's not hentai. Ocean Vale just is hentai.
Okay, I'll give you that. I will give you that.
That's
right.
literally their business model. It's the reason they don't have an app. They're not allowed to.
All right.
Next up we have Pardon the Intrusion, I'm Home.
What'd you say the Japanese name for this was?
Tadaima Okaeri.
Okay, I think Crunchyroll changed the title of this to an actual English one after a while, because
I think that Japanese over there is also the same show.
Yeah, because I was scrambling to get it back on here. Then I looked at that. It's like, wait a goddamn minute. All right, this is all you, Yuki.
All right, I haven't actually finished the series. I was still kind of watching a little bit of it right up until the last minute here. And I'm glad I did, because there's an interesting plot twist in about episode 7 regarding the blonde-haired mangaka's younger sister. I don't really want to spoil it, because so far it is the most interesting aspect of the show. But suffice to say, it involves some non-traditional relationships, and if that's of interest to you, it might be worth a look for that. But generally speaking, this is a very, very generic show. Animation is okay, but like, there's just, I don't know, it doesn't have enough feel to it as a romance. So I would say this is probably ultimately like a C tier show. I would say this is below Love Game for sure. Let's see, is it below? I don't know. I would put it above 100 Scenes of Awajima personally, but that's just because I was able to watch this one and not the other one.
Yep. All right, we'll throw that there. Which, yeah, this was another one I bounced straight off of. I didn't even give it a try. Which, were we really just that heavy this season, or was I slacking off? It feels like, because I swear it feels like I skipped more than I normally would, but it also feels like I watched more than I normally would.
Yeah, I think we were that heavy because, like, there's definitely a lot of stuff that I normally would have tried to watch at least that I had to skip over. This one's all you.
Yeah, you were bringing up the fact that this show felt like an old school magical girl anime. Yeah, very much so. Like all the good and bad ways. So for a little two things to make note on this one. One, it's an odd Tubi airing on Tubi, which I know Tubi has anime, but it's the fact that they're getting an original right off the bat here felt a little weird. Second, it's not finished yet. I'm guessing there was production problems because while this did start at the same time as a lot of our other shows, it's still 2 episodes behind as of the airing of this review stream, and like most of these shows are on episode 14 at this point. That being said, the biggest problem I've had with this is a show targeted at young girls, as in the pre-teen age group or young teen age group, and I am so far removed from that. I cannot tell like how well these characters feel and stuff. That being said, it's basically you're just following a show of a girl who gets magical powers from a space alien that causes her to grow up and just goes on adventures. There's no overarching villain to fight. There's no big battles. This will be more musical numbers or gags with their friends. The other thing to really know is when she transforms, it's not just, oh, I have magical powers. He's now like late teens, early 20s from like a mid-tier child. So it's like a child getting to play dress up. Mid-age child, okay, but yeah, actually I gotta throw this in the trash because this is old school, not slop, but like, oh, I like these kind of shows. If you've grown up with them or really enjoyed them as a child,
it's nostalgia trash.
Maybe at that, but once again, like I said, this is aimed at a target audience between the ages of 5 and 10.
All right.
Maybe 12 at the oldest, but all right. Yep.
Preteen to tween. Next up, we have The Drops of God.
Okay, incredibly short. Okay, so for our second alcohol-related show this season, why is there just a lot of things we have twos of in this season?
Great question. Things come in pairs?
I guess. So we have the story of a man who is set to inherit his father's massive real estate, but is then challenged to a wine tasting competition log at basically this man is the son of the famous wine chevalier, I think it's called, or
Sommelier.
Sommelier, that was it. S not C.
Chevalier is like a knight.
Yeah, it's still a French thing, if I'm not goddamn mistaken. Who basically helps run a craft beer company and never got into wine. And basically through this is kind of setting up what kind of it's a little bit of a technical anime streamed with about wine tasting and wine consumption, while also letting the main character kind of relate to his father. With one of the key aspects of the show they very much bring on is wine isn't something you make for yourself, it's something you prep for the future to have. Since if you're unfamiliar with how wine is aged, it can take 60, 80 years for a high-end vintage before it is ready to drink. So very much the person who made it will be dead and in the ground before they're fully able to enjoy it. And letting him reconnect with his dead father, who he had been slightly estranged from. The problem the show has is it doesn't look good. Like the fact that they were using such bad like PS3 CGI for the wine pouring there was kind of a guard. There's not much going on. Everything looks bland. It doesn't look good. But technically it's supposed to be more of a technical show, so that's not the key points here, but I don't want to throw this in a skip. It's definitely not a trash show.
Down at the bottom of C then?
Yeah, pretty far down.
I mean, from the sounds of it, it's not better than Food Diary, even.
Yeah, I think I was putting it right under that. That's where I was kind of wanting to go.
Because Food Diary was at least good-looking and competently executed.
This has a good story and is good on its technical bits, is where I was kind of going on that one. The problem being is you're trying to also connect with people who are so fabulously rich. A trip around the world isn't something they bat an eye at, and it's just like, if it was coming out at a better time, this might do better. But there's a lot going on in the real world that just kind of make you want to roll your eyes at, like, oh, she's gonna be. It's yeah. Even if you don't win this, you're still filthy fucking rich.
Yeah, it's coming out at a time when it feels especially unrelatable.
Yep. All right.
All right, unaliving morning for this next one.
Oh right, yeah. This
Yeah, this next one is Petals of Reincarnation. I did catch a little bit of this one, but I'm pretty much gonna leave it to you because I didn't see enough of it.
Okay, so the main purpose of this one is there's this special knife where if you run it across your throat and cut it open, I'm trying to really dance around these terms right now. You have a chance of awakening the power of an ancient great, someone who is of well-known notoriety throughout history or committed a lot to good or bad. This show has two major problems. The first one being, I'm fairly certain the manga writer of this either was getting massive notes from their editor or decided to change their mind, because this show flips not so much premise, but ideas of what it wants to do with it at least 4 different goddamn times. At one point, the main character, oh, I'm out to surpass my brother and steal these things. Oh, we gotta stop the evil incarnations from taking over the world. Oh no, there's realistically a evil reincarnation good person who's using manipulation to destroy humanity. Oh, there's actually an eldritch horror being who can't be remembered, who's really manipulating everything to watch humanity crumble. It goes through all of these, and on top of that, I'm pretty sure they condensed down like 80 chapters of manga into 12 episodes.
Yeah, I want to throw out there too that, if I remember correctly, they did something a little bit weird, which is not only did they give these so-called greats, who weren't always all that ancient, like Einstein, all kinds of crazy superpowers that don't always necessarily make sense, even if they're thematic. I'm pretty sure they also included fictional characters of literary works as people that you could get, like, reincarnated into you.
I'm assuming you're talking about Goemon there?
No, not, well, maybe Goemon. I feel like Moriarty or something like that even popped up.
No, I don't think. Are you talking about Hitler's sidekick?
No. I didn't know that came up at all.
Yeah, there's a couple weird things going on in this. Hey, not the most genocidal character of the show, weirdly enough. There's a lot going on here, and there's a lot of themes that switch around. Once again, I used to read the manga for this one before I eventually dropped it. Funny enough, right about where the anime ends too. Is because, like, okay, this is stupid. Like, you've doubled back on all of your themes and don't know what you want to do with this. You're just trying to wrap up in some big flashy way. I'm going to stop it here. We're just going to throw this in the skip, and I think we can move on. It was not good.
In that case, next up, we've got the strongest job is apparently not a hero or sage, but an appraiser provisional. It was enjoyable, but I think it goes straight into the isekai trash bin.
Yep, there's nothing too wrong with this one, but was he even reincarnated, or was he just teleported to another world?
I think he was just teleporting.
Yeah, there's maybe a bit more going on with this one, but once again, it's person gets teleported to the fantasy world, gets all these crazy powers bestowed on him by the god, meets big titty elf chick, meets furry older brother slash dad character. Go from there.
Oh, let's not mince it. The furry is also definitely on the love interest list.
All right. Let's
Alright, next up is Nippon Sangoku. This one was also all you.
Yep. So a Prime pseudo original. This is a really odd one to find out. I think we don't know if we had this in the preview. I think I got you to add it last second. So what we have here is a post-apocalyptic warring states style and a military drama. This overall is a very dry series going into all plot politics and military strategy, with the main characters doing their best to steer armies and nations as they're in the midst of this massive upheaval and political storm. This scratch an itch I didn't know I had, honestly, when I watched it. This was there every week, loving it. The drive of the characters, the political corruption that falls into a nation was so much and so well done. I loved every second of it. It was nothing felt forced or like, oh, because he's this much of a genius, he figured this. You saw every little piece that led to every decision and changed its shape into avoiding what would happen next on such a grand scale. The writer on this one knew exactly what they were doing. This is another one I want to throw into A. I know this is going to be a more of a niche show, especially if the animation, what would you say this animation style is from that trailer, Yuki? I know you didn't actually watch any of this.
Animation style?
Because
this is, I guess, like a seinen style of animation?
weirdly enough, for something like this, which I wasn't quite sure on.
It's very weird, though. It's like they pulled the character designs a little bit too straight from the manga and kept a lot of the line work and stuff that you would usually see only in a manga in the show.
It's great for a great that overall, like I said, the problem is this is a very dry show, but just so well written. I was hooked every bit of the way. I want to throw this up in A too. I'm just not sure where I would want to put this.
So you think it's better than Snowball Earth, for instance?
Snowball Earth had a lot of problems of, yes, I would definitely say that much on there. As much as I do have that there, it's this show, I liked all the characters, made perfect sense. The animation style is, like I said, very unique on that one, but nothing ever felt bad or off model or anything like that. The only thing you would really have to detract from is like how utterly dry this show is. But dry in the way you're watching like a historical drama play out.
Yeah, I think the content is similar to the visual style in its appeal.
But once again, I'm curious to see how this is going to go because of how this show. It's easier to portray stuff at a smaller scale, but everything keeps escalating as the main character kind of progresses through the ranks. It has more political and military power to throw around, and it has to consider more. It will be interesting to see where it goes. But all right, we're going to keep trucking along. What do we got next?
All right. Next up we have the Warrior Princess and the Barbaric King. So they both are and aren't overselling the romantic and sexual tones of this show. Did you catch any of this, Agent?
Oh yeah, I watched all of this one. Once again, why does it feel like there were like 4 shows that were supposed to be like the standout center of this season that all happened to have to run into Witch Hat?
Yeah, I felt like this one had a lot of really interesting things to say about, like, okay, this noble crusader, it turns out really that, them and their whole crusade are kind of the asshole. Um,
It's like, oh, it's just the where to, give more money to the rich and expand the. It's oh my, there's just so much political drama in this, and then nation drama, and then world. It's so much going on with this show that seems like such a dumb idea, dumb rom-com fantasy idea.
right? Like, this feels like it should be a like, trashy romance novel, trash tier show, but it totally isn't.
Yeah, no. So the whole premise of the two barbarians and civilized nations fighting each other over our civilized knightly kingdom invading the barbarians' land to conquer it and free it for their own people. Gets a respect of like, yeah, no, these are actually fairly advanced, peaceful living things, and you guys are just invading them and getting more into what's
Arguably more
going
advanced,
on.
and you guys are fucking up everything that you have.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to spoil too much on this one or go too deep into it, just because there are so many interesting twists and turns and world building on this one. I'm really curious. This will, like, when this gets more episodes, I probably will be watching this on the side for myself. Where are we putting this one though, Yuki? Because I think this is the one we can both debate on. Because a little piece of me wants to throw this up into A, which, oh my god, this is the heaviest A season we ever had.
It's definitely at least a B tier, right? Like, it has to be.
It's top of the B. I can't think of anything to put it
I
like
think
lower than that.
I think it has a lot more to say than Gals Can't Be Kind to Otaku, so I think it probably at least sits above that.
Yeah,
Just as the acid test.
just comparing it those two.
Yeah, just like as a comparison point.
Yeah,
It's not the best animated show around. Like, it definitely has a lot of static scenes and stuff, but it's not terrible either. And it's honestly, it's rare for a show of this animation quality to make it this high in the tiers, especially with how bad some of those enemies are. Like the dragons and stuff were just awful CG models.
yeah, there were a few bad ones, but like all of the human on human fights were so goddamn good. It felt like. Oh, that one just been first episode stuff though, but all right.
Alright. Next up, this one will be all you Fist of the North Star Hokuto no Ken.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to say to this
Please
one.
stop
So
making
let's
CG
go.
remakes of old classic anime.
All right, so addressing the massive elephant in the room, this show's all CGI in the same style that Baki the Grappler Kinran Ashra is. It's ugly as shit 90% of the time. That being said, one of the biggest things I love this series. I need to dive more back into the classic stuff, but a lot of people love to bring up comparisons to this show and the original Fist of the North Star anime, which is an mid 80s shonen TV weekly budget show. The CGI still is better than that one was, honestly, as much as bad as it looks. I will say the original has a lot better still frames. There's so much more still shots in that show that will shun this one to that. Anything to do with animation, this one's better though. This one is massively better. It's not 3 frames for an entire fight attack. They actually do that. That being said, what the actual synopsis of this show is, Fist of the North Star is a classic martial arts style story of, the great martial artist wander in the, unkept land, wanders the realm, writing the are punishing the evil deeds of wicked bandits or evil martial artists while helping the poor and the downtrodden. It very much follows that old school formula through and through, but that really did help set a lot of the current shonen style shows we have. Without this one, we don't have Dragon Ball, we don't have JoJo, we don't have, I'm trying to think of another big one, but honestly, those two alone might be enough to maybe look into it. And this is a pure adaptation of the manga.
I feel like some of the Fist of the North Star video games looked better than that.
Some of the weird Fist of the North Star video games look better than that. Yeah, I could definitely agree with you, especially if you played the Yakuza style one. But once again, you also don't get that amount of, I don't want to say just gore, but body damage that this show shows. It wanted to really emphasize how much Ken could do to a person with just a couple flicks of his finger, and that aspect it got across beautifully. Now, the one complaint I will go in, and I think this is a problem that the original manga had, is I don't think the writer thought this show was going to do very well, because the big person who gave him the massive scar across his chest stole his fiance, or I forget if they're actually married, and was his best friend who turned out to be his rival. It's dealt with episode 3. They have their climactic final showdown, episode 3. And then it goes back to standard wandering martial artist correcting wrongs and fixing the world bit. The other thing that this really show brings back is the Mad Max post-apocalyptic nuclear wasteland style bit. You see monster, you don't even see monsters, well, you see a monster, okay. But you just see roving
The manga
groups of
going on when it
bandits.
really didn't need to happen like 4 times.
What, the manga going on when it really didn't need to happen like 4 times? Yeah, okay, there is some stuff going on there, but this is the problem, because the show is really good. It has a great legacy. The storytelling is really nice, and Ken is such an interesting character, and the villains they don't ever feel forced. It's very much if Ken can get in touch with anything, he's going to win the fight. But a lot of the villains later on realize this and work around this. So the fights and story arcs are all good. The problem we have here is, god damn, is it ugly. It's so goddamn ugly. I don't know. It's either going at the bottom of B or the top of C. And Yuki, where's your opinion on this one? Where would you want to throw this?
I'm biased by the fact that it's yet another fully CGI remake of a classic series. And I don't want to encourage that. Like, please, if you're gonna remake classic series that are beloved by people and super influential, give them the treatment they deserve.
Yeah,
Alright. Well, that's it.
Sorry.
While Agent's busy choking here, we'll move right along to the classroom of a black cat and a witch. Alright, did you end up catching any of this one, Agent?
Oh, yep, I did watch all of this. Give me a second, because they also got an updated background. I got an updated PNG for
No problem, I'll talk about it for a minute while you work on that. So, this is another, like, anime Harry Potter deal. Honestly, animation's not very good. Its monster animation is even worse, because it's bad CG yet again. Some of the, content in it is, potentially objectionable.
Oh, a teenage girl kissing the ass of a 40-year-old man while he's in the body of a cat?
Yep, multiple times.
Daily.
Uh-huh. And that's not even the only thing, actually, but that's the one that stands out the most. Um,
I would hope so.
hey, this is anime we're talking about. You never know.
Uh,
Um, really, I mean, this is still an okay ride as like a trash anime, but there's really nothing that stands out about this. There's nothing that's super worth your time. So if magical school silly pervy stuff sounds like a fun ride, go for it. Otherwise, you know, head off to greener pastures. I would say this is probably below ridiculous reincarnation.
yeah, this is. Especially since it had like competition, like returning shows. This did not do a good one, but all right.
I mean,
It was
listen, it's in
fun.
the same season as Witch Hat Atelier.
Yeah, that comparison's not doing it any good at all. My God, is it just? I don't know why so many other like. There's a reason we got so little fantasy this season, honestly.
And also, it just being in the same subgenre even just highlights how awful the show is by comparison.
Yep, trash through and through. But
Alright. Well, that brings us to, I believe, the final series that we'll be covering today. Yaoi Yoa Sensei.
okay. Yep.
This is definitely, like, this is the uncensored anime this season, or whatever that tells you. Poorly animated, even in the, like, money shots for the porn, they're usually still frames with just, like, a moving camera and frequently still off model on top of that. This is not a good show. It's not a skip exactly, but it's definitely at the very bottom of trash. And the only reason it's not going into skip is that it's the only uncensored I can't believe it's not porn show this season.
Because the other ones were basically porn, and we'll have, like I said, I'm still debating on Ocean Vale shows. And it's in the air. We'll have a final say next season. But yeah, that was low in slop, which there's so much to get through already. But yeah, I think these are the titles that. Well, one I think I doubled up on by accident because I thought I was missing it, and the rest of these are Crunchyroll changing to actual things, so you can all read them this time. And if they've done this again, I think we will have to just switch up to standard thumbnails. I will be working on that better next season, but I need to put that back on. My bad, everyone. Sorry. Our final listings. God damn.
Very top and bottom heavy.
I mean, the C is still the thickest. So I think the B grade show is where we fell off the most here, but I think that's because we were being a little bit easier on A, but I think that might have also been because S raised the bar so fucking high.
Yeah, I don't think it's that we were being easier on A. I think it's that S pushed stuff down.
Yeah, it's so good, but yeah, there was almost anything you wanted this genre other than basic. No, we went deep into the Shadow Realm and Mao. Yeah, no, like we had everything covered. No matter what you wanted this season, you had it in spades. I could have used a couple more mecha, but it's my itch. So, but as always, this list will be posted to all of our social media as well as our Discords. If you follow us on any of those, we would love to hear what you think of shows we thought were skip or trash that you thought should have been higher ranking on this, or even anything that was in C or A that you thought should have been up or lower.
Yeah, let us know in the comments or replies what you thought of our ratings. And if there's anything that you thought that we maybe overlooked.
Or missed, because it's been getting harder to track everything. Yuki does our initial checks. I try to do our follow-up checks. And I think we even missed stuff this season. Okay, I know there's at least 2 shows we didn't technically count, but they're really oddball and they're Chinese and they didn't air at the proper timing because, goddamn it, there's supposed to be a seasonal rotation, guys. Why do you have to be start at like week 6?
Well, and then there's a couple shows that they dumped like half the series halfway through this season, but they're still technically next season shows, and it's like, what's going on?
Yeah, no, just understaffing, overworking, not understanding. But all right, let us wrap it up for the night. Who do you even have on right now? Because
Take a look.
do you have anybody you would like to send us to, Yuki?
Taking a look now.
I have a couple people, but I think I feel like I did the one for preview. Which we should have the previews up for the summer season, which is also looking extremely heavy, which we're also going to need to talk about if we want to count Ghost in the Shell on our list for the season.
Yeah, I mean, it is a reboot, I think, right?
It is from the manga's perspective, so Ghost in the Shell is a weird franchise. We're going to need to talk about that. But
if you have someone you want to raid, we can. No one on my list is like a must raid.
okay, I was going to somebody else I've been recently followed. I had a stream with a little while ago. The Swarm. Let's drop that in the shared. All right, he is digging into some POW world right now, which I'll be honest, I've also been digging into quite a bit myself. The 1.0 release is nice. It's not over the top, but it is nice. But that being said, everybody, I'll be back this Tuesday with more Suicode and Tactics. Yuki, where can I get you next?
I'm not totally sure, but I should be back sometime relatively soon here, and probably be continuing my Pokemon Fire Red Grumplock Nuzlocke variant run. Probably like tomorrow or Tuesday.
All right, then. You about ready to head out?
All set on my side.
All right, catch you later, everybody.
Alright, everybody, Martinu. Hope to see you all again next time on Yukikaze Gaming. That's all for this episode. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe, or join me on Twitch or Twitter. Hope to see you next time on Yukikaze Gaming. Matane!